Bro, that cat just freaking scratched me terribly bad, bro. To anyone who was in here and watched that, I hope you've seen that. Shh. Dude, that was rough. Oh my god. All the way down my lat, too. All the way down my left lat. Alright, guys. We're going to get into this ish today. I hope everybody's having a good day. We're going to get this stuff started right away, bro. We'll just do a 5 super chat goal. $20 and higher. 2 hours. Bro, that hurt, dude. My hat or my back is done for now, dude. Done for, bud. Like flipping done for. All right. And I also do believe that today we are going to go over Candace's last stream because I think she's back sometime this week. I don't know what's going on, but what I do know is I don't remember anything from the last episode. So we're going to go over it. I don't even think I watched it with you guys. She changed her profile picture. We were 20 minutes in. So we'll do that. We'll go over some other stuff. I don't know. Baron Coleman has been on this freaking path with Candace as well. So I just don't know, you guys. It really seems like people are wanting this Fort Huachuca stuff to be true. Like, no matter what. And anyone that doesn't agree with it is like a complete and utter idiot, right? And I just don't know if I agree with that.
All right.
We'll let some people get in here and say what's up quick. What's up, Tori? Bro, I really want to know how my back looks since my cat just fucking destroyed it. Like, ow. Anyone who's new to the stream, double tap that screen, show some love and support. Let's get those likes up. Welcome in, Tori. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, man. Let's run it up today. It's Monday. Christmas break is over. We're back on track, back on schedule. Oh, yeah, I also got to put my Ko-Fi in the chat. So YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So I'm going to put my Ko-Fi down. Beautiful quit. Don't try and come in here and say anything about me believing anything because I've been critical of Candace for the past however long now. I can't. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. What to believe anymore. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry. Especially because, like, dude, like, Alex Jones is going at her now. Thank you to Tori for the subscription. God bless you. But it's like everybody's going at her, and then now she's going after everybody. And I'm sorry, but the Fort Huachuca thing is just way too much for me. And the whole fact that Baron Coleman, like the other stream that I'm gonna present after this is this one's titled Huachuca Pictures Coming Soon. Also, why did America conquer Venezuela? So it's like he's trying to pivot on to other topics too, which is, I mean, good. I mean, it shouldn't always be about Candace Owens. And, you know, after Charlie Kirk passed and Candace first started her investigation, obviously all of us want to cover it and cover Candace because she's getting, you know, viable, you know, or she has her tip line and people are wanting to go to her. So everybody's following her for the next thing, you know, but you know, when does it get to the point where okay, now I think she's off track? And I think I'm at that point. This whole Fort Huachuca thing and everything else is just too much. It's a nothing burger. I just don't believe that he's seen Erica Kirk there. It, if it would have just been Brian Hartpool, maybe I would kind of believe it. But the fact that like the whole gang was there, it was like, yeah, I'm not thinking I'm gonna believe this, right? So, anyways, we got some people in here. Everybody who's in here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to See Me Now. Make sure you double tap that screen, get those likes up, show some love and support. Hit the notification bell after you hit the subscribe button so you can be in every single live stream and support your boy. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. If you want to support your boy further than liking and subscribing, go ahead and send your super chats through and get your name written down on the super chat wall, and it's the easiest way to get your comments read as we get into the stream. YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So go ahead and go to my pinned comment at Ko-fi, www.kofi.com/see me now, and they only take 2%. People have been donating $5 a piece. I've been getting $4 of it. So, yeah. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Beautiful quit. It's hard to tell. Anytime you say anything negative, they claim you're a Zio. Just because I'm critical of Candace doesn't mean I'm a Zio. I'm telling you, she's just pulling you into more conspiracies. You know, and in the beginning of the investigation, I was with her 100% because it was going good. It was going precisely how I thought it would, which is she's gonna get tips. People from that area, people from important spots are gonna message her, and she's gonna come out with new information. And the first like 70% of the investigation was good, but now we're at a point where the next stream when she comes on is gonna tell a lot, right? Whether or not the investigation is even an investigation anymore, or are we just going down a nothing burger rabbit hole, right? And I agree with you. You can't. I mean, I said something about me not believing Candace, and people are saying, "How could you turn on her right away? How could you do this?" It's like, I'm not turning on anybody, but I'm sorry. Just because I like you and I'm following you and I'm covering you doesn't mean that I'm not going to call your bullcrap out when I feel like you're not doing or saying the truth or you're going off track. Because then it's my responsibility to be real with myself and try and search for other options or the actual truth or to verify these claims, right? So that's where we're at, and that's where a lot of other people are at with it. And I feel like a good thing to do is to go over this last stream of hers, because I'm sure she's going to go live again this week, and let's see what's going on with it, okay? I still got a sore throat, guys, so if my voice sounds different, my apologies. But I still got a sore throat. Still feels like there's a lump in the back of my throat. But make sure you guys double tap that screen, man. Get those likes up. Let's try and hit 100 likes within the first hour like we usually do. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button with the notification bell. We're on the road to 10,000 subs, so join the See Me Now family and support your boy. I just get exhausted with people that have no idea what's going on, critique people that do know what's going on. I agree, but I've watched every episode. I'm not saying it's been proven false, but it has yet to be proven correct either. So that's where I'm standing. Beautiful quote, exactly. Just understand not one of our investigations has been proven to be factual, not one. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, brother. There's a lot of things that have been factual, but the crossroads we're at is this whole Fort Huachuca situation. Is we're at the point, we're at a crossroads where it's either right or it's wrong. Are we going to prove it or are we going to disprove it, right? So, yeah, and I've been seeing crazy stuff on Twitter from Project Constitution. Don't know where he's getting his info from, but apparently this is alleged. Apparently Erica Kirk's been pregnant and she's been hiding it. And now apparently she has ties to the Rothschilds, right? Family ties, hidden family ties, fake social security numbers. Apparently he's related to JD Vance now out of Ohio, because they both were from Ohio. I don't know. If you go look up Project Constitution on Twitter, it's like just a bunch of crazy claims. So I don't know what's going on, dude. But at this point, I feel like a good way to kind of figure everything out and get our bearings straight again is go back, watch the last episode, So we're good for when the next episode comes out. And then we'll go over some of the claims that are on the internet and other things like that. So, yeah. Much love to you guys. Double tap that screen. We just need 45 more beautiful people to double tap that screen. We'll be halfway to our goal. But we are going to get this done. Again, if you want to support your boy and get your name written down on the super chat wall, go ahead and send your super chats through. I do have a 5 super chat goal up of $20, 5 super chats of $20. But YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So if you want your money to go directly to me, go to www.ko-fi.com/see me now, pinned in the comments. God bless you guys. Jesus is King. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope you guys all had a fantastic holiday break. And hopefully you guys had a good holiday. So I love you guys. Let's go.
Right, you guys. Happy Friday. Well, I just want to start by saying that it's pretty obvious that Ben Shapiro is terrified. We can all see that now that Charlie Kirk is dead. He seems to be...
one thing I do have to say as well is don't let the fact that you love a person or you love watching a person and you're a big fan of a person deter you from thinking for yourself, right? Why would Erica Kirk pretend to be a non-drinker and live a quiet life, but there's old vids of her at bars drinking alcohol? I agree. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But that's why we're at the point where we need to figure out the truth. So let's get our bearings straight. Rewatch this last episode. I don't even think we finished it on stream. So
taking multiple stages and demanding an allegiance to Erica Kirk. In fact, it almost seems like he's demanding that nobody inquire first.
Because another thing is too is all that money that Charlie didn't want. All that money that Charlie didn't want is going through TPUSA right now. And trust me, now that I do have Candace on the title, right, there's going to be a bunch of bots that come through here, so get ready.
Further about Erica Kirk. It's odd because Ben had no allegiance to Charlie Kirk when he was alive. So what is it
Make sure you double tap that screen, guys. Get those likes up. Let's try and hit 100 likes within the first hour. We got 45 more minutes left. Hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subs, man.
Charlie's widow in particular that is inspiring his very public nervous
Welcome
breakdown.
in, everybody.
Personally, I think he knows something about her. That is what I am sensing, that he knows something about Erica Kirk. And every time he speaks, I grow more certain that Israel might be involved with 910. So let's keep investigating. Welcome back to Candace. Ben Shapiro just keeps calling my name out on stage. He's calling for me, and I'd like to show up for him today. Okay, last night he hit the stage at Turning Point USA's AmFest the other night. And I'd like, first and foremost, just to let you all know, some people noticed that he wasn't on the AmFest list for years, and all of a sudden he's back on the speaker list beginning in 2024. I want to let you know how that actually happened. So the story goes, obviously, that in 2024, Ben fired me in March. Well, he would say management fired me. But firing me wasn't enough.
No, Skippy, that's why in today's day and age, you have to work yourself up as a man, get yourself status, get yourself in a situation where when you have kids, you can take care of them. And hopefully in my situation, I have full custody, but you just be the alpha man. You just got to work yourself up at this point. There is no more being a regular and having a girl. I mean, they're really rare. I know a couple good actual women, but yeah, a lot of these, newer generation women are cooked.
He wanted to make sure my reputation and livelihood was also destroyed. Of course, what happened thereafter is Charlie Kirk instantly came out and supported me because we were like brother and sister, always supporting each other publicly. And then I showed you guys a few episodes ago that we found out as I was going to speak in Dallas at their YWLS convention that Ben had sent an intern who was going to ask me a question while I was on stage, but we sort of rumbled this plan. And I called Ben out on stage. Ben did not like that I called him out on stage, so he began working behind the scenes to have Jewish donors start threatening Charlie to make sure that I wasn't invited to speak at year-end because I was an anti-Semite. This is what Charlie told me. And instead, he wanted to be invited.
No, Smiley. Actually, a lot of... I feel like a lot of people who aren't just, who just do their own thing with God are way more honest than Catholics. I mean, or any people who proclaim themselves to be super religious. I find that a lot of people who proclaim themselves to be super religious are the ones that are more conceited in their own ways and arrogant and rude and have a lot of skeletons in their closet. You don't have to believe in God or have anything to be a good person. Okay? I believe in the universe. What you put in is what you get out, right? But I also do believe that Jesus has a big part in it. But whatever.
So he's just going to purchase a friendship, right? So he comes at Turning Point USA, and this is what was divulged to me from Andrew Colvett at the time, willing to spend an offensive amount of money to be a part of AmFest. Like I said, that was told
There's bad
to
apples
me
in
by
every
Andrew
group.
Colvett directly because he wanted to say, look, like, obviously, you know, we are totally, Charlie's 100% on your side. This is like an offensive ad spend. I was like, take it, take his money. I could care less, obviously. And I knew that he was working with Barry Weiss to call and put an article out saying that the donors, the people on the board of TPUSA want Candace gone. All of this petty behind the scenes behavior because I called him out on stage. Okay. So quite literally, this is the definition of buying friends and influence and fame. Now, in case you're listening and thinking, is Ben Shapiro actually capable of that level of pettiness? I'm going to tell you a story about Thomas Sowell. Yes, Dr. Thomas Sowell of Stanford. The story begins in 2023, shortly after October 7th. You know, Ben was sort of having another one of his open nervous breakdowns, and his audience just went kaput. People just stopped watching his podcast because he was screaming at Americans that we needed to prioritize Israel, and people just didn't feel that way. Okay, it's not our country. I'm sorry that happened to you, but why do Americans need to be screamed at about what's happening in the Middle East? Anyways, throughout this time, Brian Matt.
Yeah, there was a good point that was brought up by Myron too. He was like, "Yeah, okay, we agree that Islam is a situation we need to pay attention to, but why can't we pay attention to Israel? Once it comes to that, it's like a double standard. Rules for thee, not for me."
Was wearing an IDF uniform in Congress, and he basically said that there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian life.
Oh my God!
And when I saw this, as shared by Yashar Ali on X, I responded and I said that genocidal language, no matter who shares it, is always wrong. Genocide is always wrong, is what I tweeted. And this caused an emotional breakdown amongst people who support Israel. I didn't think that was a controversial statement. I thought that was sort of what we all believed in. Genocide is always wrong. Anyways, for Ben, he then had some private event, probably at another Jewish donor's house, and somebody caught him standing on a table insulting me over my genocide is always wrong tweet. Take a listen to what Ben had to say.
The question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt. I think it's
Why do you have a fucking microphone in a garage?
I can't cause that. Yeah, I mean, she still works for my company. I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
Disreputable, disgraceful. She works at my company. You can imagine that the internet went crazy because they wanted me to respond to him. I can't believe this. They work together, they're colleagues. Somehow this gets leaked. And I want to mention, because it's very relevant, that was on the morning of November 14th. I was 6 days away from giving birth. I was very heavily pregnant. Anyways, I wake up to this, and shockingly, I'm not.
Guys, we're at 21 minutes in the stream. Double tap the screen, guys. All you gotta do is double tap your screen and get the likes up. Show some love and support. Let's try and hit 100 likes within the first 60 minutes, y'all. Show some love and support. Let's get an algorithm. I love you guys, man.
Nobody from the Daily Wire steps in to manage the situation. And as you can imagine, virtually every journalist, every person with a media.
The one thing I hate about this space, and especially when it comes to podcasting and running these companies, like, dude, someone was recording Ben saying all that, and then people wanted Candace to reply. It's like in high school when there's a rumor about you and you are forced to reply or stay quiet, and it's like high school politics just going around. When these guys have a lot of money, there's a lot of money flowing. These guys are professionals. They have professional businesses, and they're conducting themselves like high schoolers. and I just cannot wrap my head around why a million percent, or I mean, millionaires are acting like this. It's great. I guess when you have fuck you money, you act however you want to act, but I don't know. Pretty distasteful to me when everything is always about responding on Twitter and having to have a response.
A platform was contacting me to comment, to
Thank you
respond
guys for double tapping the screen. Keep going, man. I love you guys.
to me being insulted by someone. I'm about to give birth. I'm being insulted, and they're not getting anything from a daily
She's about to give birth. She's only worried about eating pickles and fulfilling her pregnancy cravings, right?
Wire. So I am obviously frustrated. You should also tell you I had no PR at this time.
I love that fuck you money too, Billy. But it's like, if I were, like, when I get in that position, I'm moving in silence. I always respect the guy who has mystique to him, who moves in silence, who you can say whatever you want about me, but I'm not going to give you the time of day. The real ones know what's up. The ones that are around me know what's up, but I'm going to move around in silence, right?
PR was the internal PR at the Daily Wire, and it was very clear that their focus was on protecting Ben, even though he was the one who insulted me publicly, because I said that genocide is always wrong. That is the genesis of that statement. That's all I said. Obviously, I wanted to respond angrily to the press. I wanted to hit back at Ben. And I guess you could sort of say,
appreciate you, Elusive. Welcome to the channel. God bless you. Welcome to the See Me Now family.
He's a better person than me. Instructed me that morning to instead take a deep breath, relax, okay? Don't think about what you're feeling in the moment. Think about how you're going to feel in the future. And he instructed me to instead read the Bible, the Sermon on the Mount. And I read through it, and he reminds me that everybody who wants to comment, they don't care about me either, right? They're selling headlines. They want the clicks. They want the drama. And I'm going to feed into that. For what reason? For what reason, actually, am I going to give a comment and say something about Ben Shapiro? Blessed are the peacemakers, right? Don't buy into this click culture. And so I tweeted that actually my husband was right. I called for peace. I tweeted, blessed are the peacemakers. And I made the mistake, I guess it was a mistake, that after I tweeted, blessed are the peacemakers, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be commended when I get back to work. Like, wow, you really took the high road. I ended this biblical passage with Christ is king. Christ is the king. He's the only thing that matters. Obviously, Christ is king. Now, it was just Tucker Carlson's luck that I had been slated to come on his news show the very next day. He had booked me 6 weeks earlier. I got approval from Daily Wire. He booked me for November 15th. So suddenly Ben gets on this table. He insults me. It's trending all over Twitter.
Come on, guys. We just need 32 more double taps. We'll be at 50 likes. And then that'll be within 30 minutes. And we need another 50 likes within another 30 minutes. Show some love and support, man.
And Tucker Carlson is going to be the first person to capture my reaction to it. And when it came time,
I'm about free speech, okay? I'm about free speech. I usually don't ban trolls, none of that. But don't, if it gets to be too, out of control, I'm banning you, period.
The peacemaker. I made the decision to just take the high road. I said,
good morning, Pumpkin.
I don't want that to negatively impact.
God bless you. I hope you had a good Sunday, Pumpkin.
See the Daily Wire. There are great people there. I mean, I wouldn't be proud on that, but I'm not taking the bait here. I didn't say anything snipey back at Ben because I didn't want to feed the mob. That was my honest perspective. My husband was just right. And also, we're talking about a work colleague, right? Somehow, me taking the high road made him angrier. So here's what he did. Elsewhere in my interview with Tucker, he asks me who I look up to, who I like. And I told Tucker the truth that it was my dream to meet Thomas Sowell. That when I first got into politics, I read a ton of Thomas Sowell books, and I had tried many times to meet him. And obviously he's aging, but I really looked up to Dr. Thomas Sowell. And here's that clip with me and Tucker.
Who do you listen to when you're trying to figure out, I mean, some of the stuff comes at you so fast and you're talking almost every day or writing almost every day. Who do you read or listen to try to make sense or bounce ideas off of?
I have been obsessed with Thomas Sowell. And everybody knows that I am pretty much a Thomas Sowell groupie. Everything he writes, I read. And it is because he finally
Holy, she does have a big, big baby bump right here. Holy. Some people get really, really big when they're pregnant, right? My baby mama never got, well, she was a small girl, so she never got too big, but she, some girls are, yeah, they get big bellies. No,
was a part of my
no
awakening
offense. Pregnancy is a beautiful thing, but some girls get huge.
story into politics and made me focus on the economics, which is to say, block out the noise and pay attention to the
Yes.
economics. Go backwards in history to understand where we are.
Thank you so much,
it's never
Elusive, for saying that in the chat. God bless you, Elusive, and thank you for sticking up for me. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna say like the fucking video, and I'm gonna say support me. What YouTuber doesn't? People just like to get in the comments and say whatever they want to try and discredit me or to bring me down just because they're in their home, you know, they're in you know, position where they want to be in mine or whatever, and they just got keyboard warrior fingers, so I don't really worry about it. Michelle Starkey is called a baby idiot. Yeah, I know that, idiot. I know that. Duh! I said some girls get big, some girls don't get that big when they're pregnant. Maybe listen to all the context. God damn. Okay, if you want me to read your chat, super chat or something. Because at this point, unless it's a mod or someone that's showing love, I'm not reading you guys because you guys are freaking. Every time I look at the chat, I am so tired of it. I mean, the IQ in the chat is just on YouTube is just insane to me.
They're just telling you that it's going to work into the future, and there's no evidence to support that.
So when Ben
Economics, which is to say, block out the noise and pay attention to the
Yes.
economics. Go backwards in history to understand where we are. When has this worked? Oh, it's never worked. So they're just telling you that it's going to work into the future, and there's no evidence to support that.
So when Ben saw that, he decided, Thomas Sowell, hey, that's your dream. You love Thomas Sowell. He thought that was an opportunity to get even with me for taking the high road after he insulted me on stage because he's deeply jealous of Tucker Carlson for reasons that I cannot quite understand. Ben had his team reach out and schedule an interview with Thomas Sowell, which they paid for an offensive amount of money, I presume, to effectively purchase a black man who has no idea what's going on. He's very old, he's in his 90s, to hurt my feelings, okay? Interview with Tucker is on the 15th. I think it premieres on the 16th. And Ben gets Thomas Sowell, who he doesn't care about. I'm working at the Daily Wire at this moment, and I'm about to give birth in 3 days. But this was supposed to be like an FU Candace for taking the high road and saying that genocide is always wrong. That is what I mean when I say he is an incredibly petty man, okay? Now, we know how this ends. I then am fired not for what I said, but for what they assumed that I meant, and for trolls that I didn't respond to. And I want to be clear, you can fire whoever you want. You really can if you're a business owner. It's just that this was atypical in the fashion that it was done, right? It wasn't done in the way where you just say, okay, get out of here, it's not working. Instead, what they decided to do was humiliate me in front of all of the other employees by, rather than having a conversation, sort of dramatically having me exit after doing my show, not knowing that I was going to be fired. And then they had put together a stage in my studio and put up clips put together basically a whole package, like almost like a high school play, and conducted what I
Welcome
honestly,
in, everyone that's new. God bless you.
when I look back, because it recently leaked what happened at this quote unquote town hall, this is a slave hanging. This is a slave hanging, right? Gather around, everybody else is a slave. And let me tell you how this one messed up. Gather around and watch us whip this person. This is literally how I feel when I watch this, okay? And you'll know what not to do next. And here is a video of the then CEO, Jeremy Boring, which somehow Steven Crowder got a hold of this week or last week or whatever. This is just a portion of it. You should watch the entire thing because it really is something. And ask yourself in your memory, do you ever recall anybody ever being fired where 300 employees, which Ben joined electronically, he was up on the screen too, and just enjoyed watching me be humiliated, where 300 employees are invited down and shown a production of what this person did wrong? Okay, well, let's watch a little bit of this video.
Candace made no statement at all in the days after Hamas terrorists raped, murdered, and tortured over 1,000 Israeli civilians, mostly Jews, some Americans. And then they
See you
took
tonight.
hundreds more
Okay.
hostage. But then on October 28th of 2020,
All right, guys, we got 600 people in here, and we got 28 more minutes left in the hour. Double tap that screen, show some love and support. Join the family. We're on the road to 10,000 subs, man. We are under 800 away from 10K. Once we hit 10K, it's going to be a pretty big milestone for me. I never thought I'd even reach 1,000 subs, let alone 10,000. So double tap that screen, show some love and support, man. We just need 74 more beautiful people to double tap that screen and join the family. I love you guys, man. I hope you guys all had a good Christmas break and had a blessed one and were safe. And yeah, I love you guys, man. God bless you guys. It's always a good day when we can be here together and vibe.
23, while anti-Israel protests were raging in London, where Candace, I believe, was at
Welcome
the
in,
time.
Karma.
She reposted a video of the protests on X, commenting, quote, "Interesting thing happening here. People are not accepting the media narrative about what's happening in the Middle East, despite the insistent rhetoric from government officials."
Brian,
On
you're
November
funny.
3rd, she posted, quote, "No government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide, ever. There is no justification for a genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state." There was only one country on earth being accused of genocide at the time. Anti-Semites on X took to it immediately. They cheered at what they rightly or wrongly interpreted as Candace smearing Israel. And Candace didn't rebuff
Zeus, why
their
you always gotta be so
interpretation.
jealous?
So
All
when
right,
Dave
we gotta
Rubin
do it. Oh, you're cold. You just must have came in from outside. All right, we gotta do it every single stream. He always has to come over and say hi. So say hi to Zeus. Come here, Zeus. Come on, stand up all the way up here. Say what's up to the stream, man. Say what's up. He's saying hi. All right, sorry.
came to the exact same conclusion as the anti-Semites, only instead of cheering for Candace, found it vile and rebuked her. Candace quickly attacked, saying, quote, "What's amazing about this is that I didn't name any country in this tweet. I simply stated that genocide is wrong always. This is not a controversial stance. Interesting how you interpreted it." And then followed up with, quote, "In short, if the blanket statement that genocide is wrong upsets you in any way, then you need to check yourself. I said exactly what I meant, and I won't be backing down or apologizing or further clarifying this statement." Within 24 hours, Candace liked a post calling Israeli
Almost halfway to 100 likes, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu a war criminal. Now let's be clear. You're free to disagree with Israel's conduct, and you're free to oppose the Netanyahu government. But the idea that Israel is committing genocide or that Netanyahu is a war criminal is just factually baseless. Unfortunately, Candace routinely makes insinuations about Jews that both lovers of anti-Semitism and haters of anti-Semitism both agree is anti-Semitic. And in almost every one of these instances, Candace says nothing to the anti-Semites who cheer her and only pushes back against those who disapprove of her comments. On February 28th of this year, Candace, just asking questions, posted, quote, "Time to look into the history and profiteering of pornography." Her replies were immediately flooded with anti-Semites cheering her for the question and providing the answer that they interpreted her to mean, the Jews. Once again, Candace did nothing to disabuse the anti-Semites of their assumption. But when Anthony Coach came to the exact same conclusion, Candace pushed back, saying, quote, "This is utterly insane. I tweeted that porn is harming men in our society, and this person has interpreted that as an attack on Jews. This is an example of clinical insanity. There is no other explanation."
I stand by all of those tweets. Pornography is harming men. We should look into who profits off of pornography. Genocide is always wrong, no matter which country calls for it, whatever. What was controversial about anything that I say? Now, I'm again wanting you to, these are my crimes. Just imagine 300 people being brought and said, like, she said this, and this is what we know. And then he goes into a diatribe about the real meaning of Christ is King, and he shows videos of Nick Fuentes, which had nothing to do with me. I had never even spoken. I think only one time I'd spoken ever to Nick Fuentes, and it was pertaining to Kanye. Yeah, that was it. But I'm showing you this because it's important for you to understand that this has never stopped. I want you to imagine if you view yourself to be a slave owner and that slave not only survives like this public whipping, but that escapes and becomes successful. That's pretty much my relationship with Ben Shapiro since he's fired me, because they have not stopped. They have not stopped. I am talking about people working behind the scenes to call advertisers, attempting to bankrupt me in courts, sending undercover interns to stalk me. He has issued thus far 3 court proceedings, okay, for every solitary petty infraction against things that I say. He's worked with Barry Weiss behind the scenes to have articles written about me. It is nonstop. I refer to this, just to be clear.
Yeah, I feel like the Daily Wire, like at this point, has completely sunk their ship. Like I feel like no one looks at them seriously, and the people that do just aren't up to date with any information. Like seriously, I think Ben Shapiro's done for. I think that if they wanted to continue to have a following and have people support them, that they should have probably responded to some of the problems differently, and not kind of showed their ass when it comes to everything. Kind of feel like Daily Wire is done for. We're almost at 50 likes, guys. Keep double tapping that screen. Show some love and support, man. Let's try and get 100 before the end of the hour.
Clear as legal abuse. It's legal abuse. And I have put up with a lot of it. I have put up with the pettiness of even suing me because I interviewed a USS Liberty survivor who mentioned your name as you pretend that you care about free speech and debate. I've put up with a lot of it, but today I draw the line. I draw the line with this miserable imp when it comes to Charlie Kirk, okay? Don't try me on this, but you keep trying me on this. You are an imposter, Ben. You're an imposter. You pay to pretend that you're friends, that you have a right to be on that stage because you get donors to pressure people, because you know Jewish people who can threaten to take money, or you say, I'm going to do an advertising spend. Here's $1 million. I'm sorry,
everybody.
you're dead. The entire world knows that you are an imposter. I mean, you're so much of a fraud that essentially what you do is you have people send around clips to grown men to cheer you on, to pretend like the audiences love you. You staff audiences with people that work for YAF who are told to explode into cheers when you hit the stage because you don't have the confidence anymore to go out into the world because you know people see you for what you are. And so exactly what he did yesterday. We can now listen to what this imposter said as he hit the stage. Charlie Kirk's organization, the one that he built for debate, if you have a disagreement, and he instructs people here in this speech to go after me and Tucker Carlson, right? That's what he's going to do. He wants us deplatformed. So he's going to attack me, he's going to attack Tucker Carlson, and he's going to attack Megyn Kelly because she's at the beginning of what these people have put me and Tucker and Charlie Kirk through. Take a listen to a portion of what Ben had to say.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Who's cheering for this guy, man? Every time I hear Ben talk, my ears just hurt, bro. Who's cheering for this man, bro? He probably paid like a crowd to cheer, bro.
Or to mirror her bullshit lines of questioning because you love Candace personally. The same holds true of Megyn Kelly, a person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. When Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Well, Ben, when it comes to you and having worked with you, I just know the tactics that you use to feign popularity in the public. I just know the amount of money that you are willing to spend on advertising to inflate your numbers to make people think that you're popular. So, yeah, I don't have to say we don't know no when it comes to you. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy against Tucker, your ability to believe that you can keep manipulating the markets. You know those kids booed you on that stage. The amount of messages I got from Turning Point USA people saying, what is happening? Why is he on this stage? Standing against everything that Charlie believed in. That's what you're doing. You're standing against everything that Charlie believed in because you weren't his friend. He didn't like you for that very reason. I look at you and I just think you are such a little worm. I could see you right now, probably. What can we get out to her? We're going to sue her into bankruptcy again, right? Sue her for every infraction, every word that I don't like, and every time my feelings are hurt. Because what you really believe in is Baal Barith. That's what your people believe in. You believe that you are contract lords and that people are not allowed to violate contracts or you will ruin them for years. You fire someone and you effectively stalk and harass them for years after. I'm here to
goes on in the, and she's talking about like, this is the podcast industry, or like, the news industry, what the journalism industry, whatever you want to call it. But, a good example of that is the music industry, right? Artists always talk about it. They go against their, contracts, then they get their albums put on hold, then they get shelved, then they get harassed, then they get canceled. You know what I mean? It's not uncommon. I mean, the same people who own the music labels own the prisons. It's do some research.
let you know that I'm done with it. I am done with it. This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of...
Wait, what'd she say? This one, she's about to say, fuck you. Look at that face. Look at that pause face, guys.
One is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world.
When you hear a person that doesn't swear, right? When you hear a person that doesn't swear, it is so much more compelling. Like, I gotta hear it again. I'm sorry.
Is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular? How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant? It's an open-ended question. Of course, what followed Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie Kirk loved very much, and who he fought for to the very end against the Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do. Take a listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say when he hit the stage.
the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left, that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that.
I love hearing Tucker Carlson speak. I'm sorry, but I really do. Thank you guys for the 50 likes, just 50 more, and we'll be at 100. Double tap that screen. But yeah, I mean, I just love hearing Tucker talk. He's so good at talking and explaining things, and yeah, he's good, man.
And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this
JW, nothing's wrong with that. I'll take Qatar money. Bro, I will take Qatar money any day, bro.
has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated...
Come on, guys. If we're proud Americans in the chat, spam American flags in the chat, man. Spam American flags, man. I want to see some patriotism, and I want to see some love, man. Stop the hate, man. Show some love and support. Flags and hearts, man. Flags and hearts.
And deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist.
Yep. It's facts.
That is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am and will continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk. And to people that are at home,
welcome in, Sonny.
I implore you to wake up to these people who believe that they are contract lords. I challenge Black Americans to wake up to your true history, because your quarrel is not with white men, okay? Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another. Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims. Wake up and learn the true history of slavery, because that wasn't exactly a white men sport, okay? Jewish people were the ones that were trading us.
No,
Jewish
I'm not
people.
for Muslims. I shouldn't say that. All people have a right to believe in what they believe in within their own right. I'm not with any of them. I am in between. But my thing is this. If I get Qatar money, then I'm infiltrating the enemy, okay? And then I'm going to further use that money to continue to destroy them, right? Do you guys know what a joke is? I feel like you don't. I feel like a lot of people in this chat, every single time I say something, it's like, oh my God, we got to take him so literal. Or we got to tell him that he said something wrong. Like, holy fuck, the chat police is on duty today, right?
Were in control of the slave trade. They've buried a lot of it, but it's there, and you can find it. I think all of us need to wake up to this.
Okay,
it's
Johnny,
making
my
me
bad.
Absolutely sick that he is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare grace that stage when Charlie Kirk knew exactly what Ben Shapiro was and will always be. So again, on your belly, Ben Shapiro. We'll be back after a brief break.
I am going to go to the bathroom. I will be right back. I love you guys. Double tap that screen. We just need 39 more beautiful people. Double tap that screen when we get to 100 likes. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Join the See Me Now family. We're on the road to 10K. I'll be right back. See, that was quick. I was quick with it, right?
All right, Warren's we're dead. Stop even your 958-1000 discovery call. If there is going to be one solitary person who convinces
Candace is
me,
beautiful.
who has
Candace
convinced
is a
me
gorgeous
that
woman.
the public is justified in looking into Erica Kirk, it is Ben Shapiro. Okay, didn't like Charlie. You're telling me he's just obsessed with defending the honor of his widow? No, he's fearful. He's fearful of something about Erica Kirk. He just keeps calling out Erica Kirk on stage, demanding allegiance to Erica Kirk. Who are you? Actually, who are you? Why are you in this conversation? Why were you so quick to say that you would pick up his bloody mic and carry on? And didn't you just like fire half of your force that was involved in Daily Wire Kids, only to then drop $1 million on Charlie's show? Again, weaseling your way into the chair when you weren't invited to go on there, but Matt Walsh was, because that's what you do. You wheel and deal behind the scenes to make people think that you're liked. It's embarrassing, really, Ben. It's truly, honestly embarrassing. Why are you not embarrassed to be alive? I don't understand it.
Holy
Anyways,
shit.
so
She's really going at it, dude. She's like, why are you not embarrassed to be alive? That's a crazy statement, bro.
his general demeanor is starting to make me think that there's something there, right? The Fort Huachuca thing, it's definitively compelling, I would say. I am learning also that Fort Huachuca has ties to Liberty University and that you can attend classes there and achieve your degree at Liberty University, still working to verify that. But Mark Amadei, we're going to get to that, actually, that congressman in a second, Amadei, has come out and really kind of not answered where he was on the morning of the 9th. And as I said, I don't know if we can rely entirely on the memory of one person who believes that he saw these individuals. But what I can say is that we verified 1,000% that he was where he said he was, that there was a meeting where he says that there was a meeting. We verified that Captain Neff was there, the one that he says was nice, but he got questioned for a very long time and they wanted to hold him for 24 hours. So everything else that people are trying to dig up about Mitch, you can just ignore. Okay, that is a distraction, right? The only way that you can help debunk anything that he has said is to say, oh, actually, I was the person that was there. It wasn't this congressman, it was me. Or I was staying at the Candlewood Inn and Suites and I saw this couple or, these two individuals in the hotel as well. And it was actually somebody else. It was my cousin. We are looking only for somebody to debunk those two aspects.
Guys, we got 4 more minutes left within the hour. We just need 35 more double taps. 35 more beautiful people listening. Double tap that screen. We'll be at 100 likes within the hour. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. You guys are awesome. And I'll shut up.
Okay. Because he was where he says he was, and everything else we have verified. Ignore the noise and stay focused on that note, because we did know that he was going to get attacked by a lot of trolls. And I did tell you we would put together a Give, Send, Go. You can support Mitch at givesendgo.com/Candace podcast. I literally just hit publish on this right before.
I don't know. I feel like the whole Give, Send, Go thing for Mitch is a bit much, bro. Like, why are you giving a Give, Send, Go when nothing's verified yet? Like, you haven't verified anything, right? Like, you haven't got anything 100% concrete, and yet you're telling your millions of listeners to go give money to a Give, Send, Go. I mean, I don't understand that. I think that's a bad move. Would never do that myself. Like, you gotta really prove your shit to me, bro. That's how I would be. I don't know. I feel like she's just getting too desperate. That's just my opinion.
Or we went live because I realized I hadn't done it. I need to fill out more and a little bit more about his story, but givesendgo.com/Candace podcast to support him. And like I said, I got the paperwork regarding his lawsuits, everything he said about being put on an NDA for 35 years. It is all real. It is all verified. Take my word on it. You don't have to send a bunch of emails and saying, well, maybe this sounds weird. How do you get onto the base? We verified it all. Okay. Now,
it doesn't matter if he didn't take it, you guys. It's the fact that she did this, right? Like, she let this guy come on her show. He made very crazy claims. He's kind of showed some receipts, but not anything too crazy or too verifiable. and yet she's doing give saying, "Oh, I don't care if he took the money or not. I just wouldn't do that."
Regarding Fort Huachuca and what it is, or who he believes that he saw, we told you obviously that he thought that he saw the congressman from Vegas, Mark Amadei. And I will say, regarding the call sign in Vegas, we keep telling you that call sign at various times says Sam 702 or RCH 702. Well, that's Vegas. 702 is Vegas. Shocking just about area codes. Obviously, 702 is Vegas. So that could just be obviously a coincidence, but it becomes compelling. Well, Mark Amadei apparently received a ton of phone calls from his constituents who wanted to know where he was. Like, where were you actually on the morning of the 9th? I want to remind you guys, the meeting was concluding at 7:30.
Yeah, it's been proven he's been there on that base, but where's the proof that Erica was there? Where's the proof that Brian was there? Where's the proof that the governor was there? I don't care if he was there or not. Okay? Just because he was there doesn't mean his claims are substantiated. You guys, that's my point. Unless things are 100%, I'm not making a give, send, go. I'm not doing none of that shit. Substantiate your claims.
We verified his call logs. We verified everything. The meeting was concluding around 7:30 a.m. in the morning on the 9th on Fort Huachuca, at Fort Huachuca. So it is entirely possible, and as flight routes show for planes that did maybe perhaps were in attendance at this meeting, you can get back to DC. You just can, obviously, in that time frame. Well, Mark Amadei tweeted this. He tweeted, "For those of you information consumers who are stuck in practices of the old days, who prefer facts to dreams and falsehoods, take comfort knowing that in public service, there is this thing called the public record. The public record on September 8th indicates that I was returning to Washington, D.C. from my district and voting on the floor of the House of Representatives. And on September..."
Alec, I agree with you, but that's my point. If you guys were here in the beginning of the stream, I said these exact words, right? I said, we're at a crossroads. That's why we're watching this last stream she did, because I want us to kind of get a grounding on what she last said, because this next stream she does is going to be very, very, very vital when it comes to proving what, has been claimed, right? This next stream is going to be like, okay, are you going to provide proof? Are we going to go in the right direction? Are we going to start, actually substantiating stuff or making valid claims? Or are we just going to continue to kind of just go through the motions and continue to say this is true without any proof and, continue to fight with Alex Jones? I don't know. But I just truly think that this next stream is very vital, right? So that's why we're watching this one right now.
September 9th, in a 12-hour markup in the House Appropriations Committee, of which I am a member, as well as voting on the House floor. Should you prefer video to the words of a member of the federal legislature, please feel free to view the House Appropriations Committee's...
And by the way, guys, I freaking got a by the way, I'm clipping this. I'm sending it to TPUSA. TPUSA, where's my fucking 47 hat, bro? I was supposed to get a hat yonders ago, okay? And you guys send me a We Are Charlie Kirk wristband. I want my hat. Do you understand? Or I'm going to sue you for making false claims like that guy did with Pepsi.
Recording of said event on that date. To quote Ronald Reagan, "Facts are stubborn things. Merry Christmas." So it's like, whoa, serving up. I was for 12 hours locked into this meeting. And so there I am. There's my alibi. Well, very quickly, the interneted and
25
realized
more
that
double taps will be on
actually
100 likes,
he
y'all.
missed 2 of the roll calls
24.
that happened in the morning, and that he was present in the evening or late afternoon. We are still working to verify that. I replied to that feed, but I can tell you what this person posted and showed. Diligent Dennison on X wrote, "Exposed. Rep. Mark Amadei tries and fails to give a solid alibi for the alleged September 9th meeting with Charlie Kirk's security, Brian Harpole. The rep claims to have been traveling to D.C. from his district on September 8th, then in a committee meeting for 12 hours all day on the 9th. However, he was not present for roll call until the 3rd meeting in mid-afternoon on the 9th in D.C.
Yeah, that is very, very suspicious. But there's a lot of claims on Twitter that are fucking crazy. What's up, you? I see you, bro. I've been watching you. Um, just like the fact that Erica Kirk's pregnant, right? At first she was, now she wasn't, and now she is again. I don't know what the fuck to believe. Twitter is just a cesspool of craziness. I got a pimple right by my nose. Those are worst pimples, bro.
See, this means he could have spent the night in Arizona on September 8th, attended the morning meeting on the 9th, and caught a military flight 3 to 4 hours away from the base to make it in time for the third roll call in DC. I can't believe you tried to act like you were there all day. Cooked. Cooked at the end there. And they were able to demonstrate, according to record, that he did miss 2 of the roll calls. Now, there might be a reason. Again, we are looking for follow-up. And our goal here is if he has an alibi and he was there on the floor for 12 hours, we would be obviously happy to say that. Like I said, we can confirm every aspect of Mitch's story, but we can't confirm his memory and whether or not he is good with facial recognition. But I do find...
Thank you for the tip. I appreciate you. Again, YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So if you want your money to not be scammed from YouTube, right? Go to www.ko-fi.com/see me now and donate through there. Love you guys.
It to be compelling for a few reasons. One is that I was actually given the travel logs for Brian Harpole, and it is entirely possible that Brian Harpole could have made it for that meeting. I can tell you that definitively. Brian Harpole could have made it to that base for that early morning meeting. There is no question. And obviously, in the interest of making sure that I'm not misrepresenting him, I have now reached out to Brian Harpole twice. I have his number because he was Charlie's security, and I went on tour with Charlie for years. Messaged him. I know that he received it according to iMessage. I messaged him again. I messaged him, just so we're clear, before we went live yesterday, and I messaged him again since, and I asked him, hey, look, we're only in the interest in telling the truth. If you were somewhere that morning, let us know, and we'll clarify that. You would think that he would jump at opportunity, because why would you want to have people even thinking or surmising that you could have been at this meeting when you can easily debunk it? We got crickets from him. Again, it could turn out that it was a Brian Harpole lookalike. It is totally plausible that he just mistook someone's identity, and I am totally open to that and just looking for more information. There was one person who we are vetting who believes that they have evidence that the people that Mitch saw were in fact on that base on that date. We will keep you guys obviously posted on that. Now, something else interesting happened. I have been sending, just so you know, when I send Mitch stuff that's happening and I'm trying to guess who was there or who wasn't there, I don't give him the context when I send him pictures. So when he first described the congressman, described the person's height and their, glasses, this or that, I had sent a few congressmen. He was like, no, 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 no. And then we landed upon the Las Vegas congressman. We did not give him the name. I didn't know his name, to be honest with you. And he went, that's the guy. So it was interesting. And of course, this was before we discovered the planes and the route to Las Vegas. So that was compelling. Yesterday, and genuinely because I was sitting down having a discussion at dinner with Johnny Yep, who runs Catholic for Catholics, and we were sort of discussing everything. And I get this text message from Skylar being like, Ben Shapiro's like on stage, just like calling you out again. I said to myself, what is his investment in this? Why do I feel like he's somewhere along the way implicated in something? Let me clarify. I'm not saying he murdered Charlie Kirk, but it doesn't matter if I said that either way. That's his whole style is to try to sue people out of the free markets because he can't win in the free markets. But yeah, I'm going, what is this? Why do I feel like there's a hook here? And at that time, someone had mentioned to me, hey, did you see what's going viral right now on X? Which is that Erica Kirk lied about having not dated anybody before Charlie Kirk. And actually, I knew that she had dated somebody before Charlie Kirk, and I had never known that she had made...
Yeah, the whole fact that, Erica's lying about all this stuff, like the drinking, the dating people, the partying, it's really, like, just be honest, like, you're already in a bad position where people are questioning you and really thinking bad of you. And for you to say all this stuff is like, bro, It's like you're making yourself look a lot worse. Welcome in, Stacy. God bless you. Hope you're having a good day.
That claim, and people were starting to make all of these
Happy
videos
Monday.
about it and wondering if she had misremembered or whether or not she was telling an intentional lie about her past. Now, what I can say is that there does seem to be disparity between her version of events and other people's version of events. Definitively at that meeting, obviously, I've already intimated that to you. Like Andrew Colvett has a memory, Erica Kirk has a memory, and then the surgeon has a memory, right? I should also mention that the surgeon said, and again, this is through a third party person, so it's not a direct line between me and the surgeon, that he absolutely did not violate HIPAA when he suggested, hey, maybe it's a frangible bullet, but rather that it was a three-way call with him and Andrew and Erica. I don't know if he's telling the truth or if Erica's telling the truth and Andrew Colvett was flying blind. But, there's a disparity. And as I was looking at this, I sort of went, oh, wait, yeah, I do remember that Charlie told me about Cabot Phillips dating a girl. For some reason, I thought it was Sammy, the other girl that he had a crush on. And I was like, was it Erica? That's so funny. I'm trying to remember this. And then I saw a picture in somebody's TikTok of Cabot Phillips. I hadn't seen him in a very long time, and he works for the Daily Wire. And he had a beard. And that was the thing that he kept saying to me as this
Yeah,
guy.
a lot of you people don't understand that, like, what Erica's doing is completely ruining what Charlie was doing. Like the whole bringing Nicki Minaj on the stage. Like, who thought that was a good idea? I didn't even see the full fucking interview on there. We should go look it up. But who thought that was a good idea? Who? You bring Nicki Minaj on when your husband would have never done that, and she doesn't even know how to speak properly in that kind of situation on stage. She says that freaking JD Vance is an assassin. Like, bro. Oh my God, bro. I don't know. Sometimes it feels like a fucking reality movie, and we're all just watching it, I'm gonna go fill my coffee. I'll be right back. And by the way, New York is cooked, bro. Cooked.
I had a beard. He's around 37. Anyways, I sent him the picture of Cabot Phillips, and he says, yes, that's the person I remember being at the base.
So I was watching a picture or a video of Nick Shirley in New York trying to get in, like, just question these people who were obviously leftists on the sidewalk. And this black woman kept flashing him to get his stream demonetized or whatever. And the cops were right there, and she was pushing up on him with her breasts exposed. And it's like, dude, that's sexual assault. That's SA, bro. Why are you not doing anything, to get her in trouble or to protect him from that? But that's how New York is. It's only gonna get worse. But yeah, Stacy, coffee people, man. I can't do this without my coffee, man. Some Cinnabon creamer. Let's go.
Now I'm like, that would be totally crazy. Maybe, again, this could be a lookalike. And so I messaged Cabot Phillips and did not get a response. I messaged Cabot Phillips twice today, actually, and asked him if he wanted to have an off-record conversation because we can't just like take that to the bank. Like I said, I am terrible with faces. So if I saw Cabot Phillips, I had to just from memory, there's like 30,000 other people I would say it was definitely him too. And I can't trust Mitch's vision on this, but it at least is compelling. And I was like, let me do some basic fact checks here. What do I even know about this guy, Cabot Phillips? And I know that he does the morning wire at the Daily Wire. And I checked, and he's missing from the morning wire. He doesn't do it daily, but he does it enough times that I noticed that he is missing from September 4th to the September 10th on that show. And so I am looking to see, to just debunk or like remove him from the picture, that and maybe to get a clearer understanding that maybe Mitch thinks he remembers things. I mean, he's super detail oriented, like telling me what kind of watch the person was wearing, because he was like, I was going to go up to him and I was going to say something. But I'm going, I don't know anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing, dude. Like, why would you go up to someone and like comment on their watch? To me, that just sounds too. I mean, maybe he's like that. I don't know. But all I know is that I wouldn't be sitting there fucking. Oh, this guy has a Rolex on. I'm gonna go say hi to him and say what's up.
About actually Cabot Phillips, and it was very difficult to find any information outside of his father, who I found a lot of information about. Actually, he's a pretty big guy, taking a lot of money from the Adelsons, and he's definitely a neocon. I'll tell you that for free. So I thought, could this be the reason that, in my back of my mind, could this be the reason that Ben's having some sort of a weird spiral? Does he know something? Or is this just a case, and it could be, just be very clear, it could be a full case of Mitch misremembering, but I didn't give him the context. I didn't say this is Erica's ex-boyfriend from 2017. And I just found that to be interesting. And yeah, so I don't know what the reason would be to say that you didn't date someone. You did. And I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand that at all. And the internet did pull this up, which I think we can show that. Yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. There's a lot of social media activity between her and his family. I was also really compelled by how close she is with her cousin, this Nicole Rothstein, who defends her in the comments currently, by the way, and says, Erica, people were asking why it seems like now there's this bend towards Israel.
Like, I'm sorry, but Erica, and this is all, fucking alleged, just my opinion from a man, right, who has seen crazy women and has dealt with crazy women who got custody from a crazy woman, okay? So, I feel like Erica is one of those girls who has, like, a past. She was Miss Arizona, whatever. She partied. I feel like she's one of these girls who has a past and pretends not to, right? Like the girl who's 30 and over her days where she sleeps around and she's like, I was never H-O or W-H-O-R-E. I was never or. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like Erica is.
And Nicole Rothstein was like, I'm her cousin. She's half Jewish. I did not genuinely, I did know that she was part Jewish. I don't know about any of this at all, but it is interesting that they had a relationship, and I don't know why that's being wiped from the memory. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship before you find the love of your life at all. And so I'm hopeful that we can get some answers, and that's why I asked them publicly. When I can't get answers privately, I ask them publicly. Do you want to know why? Because I have a right to ask questions.
There's a difference between having a partner, like a boyfriend, before you find the love of your life, or rather than saying like, nope, I never dated anybody. Charlie's the only person. I was this holier than thou person that never did anything. Instead of lying, you know what I mean? Like, instead of just saying, yep, I did have boyfriends, but it didn't work out. Respectfully, I don't associate with them. But now, Charlie was my forever. There's different ways of. It's not what you say; it's how you say it, right?
Questions. And like I said, I don't like the way Ben is signaling that he doesn't want people looking into Erica. Okay. And when people start looking in, they then find that a Daily Wire employee dated her. So that seems interesting, to say the very least. And we should figure out, what's actually going on. Like, what is actually going on? He even says the Mossad. I never once said the Mossad killed Charlie Kirk. So was that by accident? Definitely starting to think in a major way that Israel's got something to do with killing Charlie Kirk. And the Egyptian planes, which we are putting the final touches on because I don't want there to be even one typo or mistake on this, that we're going to put up on our website. It leads you to Israel. It just does, okay? There's no question. That's why.
I feel like Erica's trying to live up to Charlie's name when it comes to being holier than thou. That's why she's lying about these things. But also, dude, her mom and her dad and herself have such huge ties to Israel and, certain companies and military contracts. It is not out of this world or outlandish to say, yeah, she most likely, there's a connection, okay? They didn't even take a day off of geofencing from Charlie Kirk's memorial. Why do you think that they made it the way they did in a fucking arena, like a goddamn Super Bowl show, and they geofenced everybody. You know, I just think that Israel we need to be the 100 and what is it, 108th country that Israel gets kicked out of, or we disassociate with them. But this is alleged, all figment of my imagination. I'm not smart. I'm an idiot. We all know this. Don't believe anything I say. Natty, thanks for the subscription. God bless you.
They were panicking about the Egyptian planes. Fort Huachuca is involved in lawsuits and sworn
And
affidavits.
by the way, guys, we're on the road to 10,000 subs. If everyone in here right now just hit subscribe with the notification bell, we would be halfway to 10,000, right? Well, we're over halfway, but you guys get what I mean. We're at 9.27K. If everyone just hit subscribe, we'd be so close. Let's run it up, guys. Show some love and support.
Davids regarding 9/11, people who asserted that the prepping for that took place. The vibes are vibing here at Fort Huachuca. The more of it I learned about Fort Huachuca, and that's
Thank
why we
you,
open you guys
Carl,
to this
for the subscription.
investigation
God
to send
bless you.
us tips. And I would like to focus you on what we would like to learn. If you have concrete evidence of what occurred at Fort Huachuca on the early morning of the 9th, we want to hear from you. We do not want an email about what
Shaw Holiday, I'm sorry, but I don't care what the Bible says. Like, I really don't. Like, if the Bible tells me to stand with a country who's poisoning our youth and doesn't have our best interest at heart and eventually is looking to kill me, yeah, I don't really care what the Bible has to say at that point. I know you did, Hugh. Thank you so much, brother.
Mitch did in 1993 and why you don't think he's a good person because he had a divorce with his wife. We just don't need that. We do not want an email saying, I'm in the military, and it would be unusual for them to allow him to book the hotel. We've already confirmed all of it. He has a literal video of him that's 18 minutes long asking for directions to get to where he's going. We can see in the background where he is. We don't want you to waste your time on that. We have
And by the way, I think I'm going to stop doing goals on YouTube. I mean, you guys can go ahead and super chat. That's fine. You can still get your name written on the super chat wall. But every single time I see someone donate a lot of money on here, I feel bad because YouTube takes 30%. So go to in the pinned comment, go to www.ko-fi.com/see me now, and they only take 2%. Okay? I don't want you guys, it's such a bad economy in these days to where if you guys donate a bunch of money, I don't want 30% of it to just be taken, okay? So if you're going to donate and you want to get your name written on the donation wall, send money through Ko-Fi, okay? All right.
verified everything we could verify about the story. We cannot verify the people. And yeah, I just sense that there's something there because Ben is coming undone, and he only comes undone about one topic, and that is Israel. So we will take a break, and I will answer some of your questions. For the money to finance payments, and you guys already know. And what I love, and you'll get skin. Okay,
You guys, Christ is burning in a bunch of ish in the Talmud. You guys know that, right? Like, I just laugh a lot of the times when these people say, well, you don't believe in the Bible if you don't believe that we need to always be on Israel's side and blah, 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 blah. Bro, you have... I don't get 7K, you fucking... Oh my God, I gotta stop reading the chat. Anyway, like, bro, I'm sorry. I'm just, you guys just need to do your research. No shit, it's YouTube's platform, but I'm trying to say, if you're trying to send me your money, you're trying to give it to me, not YouTube, so go to Ko-Fi. Okay, I'm done reading the chat. Love you guys. Let's go.
Guys, reminding you, if you would like to purchase my book for Christmas, you can do so on Amazon now. You can just add it to your cart, and you will absolutely love it. It really gets into the history of feminism and who brought the plague to break down families to America. And you can really trace that right back to the same people who assassinated the Tsar, people who believe that they have a right to murder people to take what they want. That is the guiding principle and philosophy of some religions, certainly not the Christian one. Anyways, make him a stand.
Dude, none of these people in Israel are the Jews that the Bible is talking about. None of them. Maybe a couple. But like, yeah, you're right, Skippy, 100%. Thank you, bro.
language.com if you'd like to buy direct from us, and you can purchase signed copies,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I'm sending a lot
coffee's so
more
good.
directly on CandaceOwens.com. A good time to mention to you guys that I had a very crazy week, and I'm so sorry that we had to bump book club again. There will not be a book club tonight, and I will be sure to reset one. We just need to figure out with Mark's travel schedule. Mark, Princess. You know what, Mark? I have a question. Where are you going, actually? Where do you think you're going?
I'm going to Fort Huachuca.
Oh, to get your intelligence training. Okay, I got it. Okay. Well, yeah, we also have new merch on the website, by the way. And that is also makes a good Christmas gift. We have fun merch, and we have new
Okay, I don't really care about the merch. I just want to know when you're going to be back. So let's kind of get
merch
to
that's
that.
going to be. We can do this. They put him through. It's unbelievable. And again, I think that's why so many veterans who have honestly been through these scenarios with the military just wrote so many beautiful emails. I wish I could share them all with him. Many people, by the way, who completely verified what he said about Fort Huachuca. One person who even said, oh, that year I was actually JTF, and he's absolutely telling the truth because of the horses. That part he talks about, like the horseback riders, and they told me who the general was that insisted that they all learn to ride horses. So he is very much being supported, and we can do this stuff without support from the mainstream media. Let them keep calling us crazy. I'm okay with that. We would only be crazy if we believed anything that they were saying at this point. Unaffected COVID writes, go Max, Candace, go Max.
Thank you to Sylvia for the subscription. God bless you. On the road to 10,000 subs, man.
Thank you for that donation. Chance Callahan writes, as a gay Tennessean and OG Candace stan, I have always appreciated your authenticity and intellectual honesty. I used to have to defend my support of you, but that is no longer. The people are waking up and recognizing who and what is fake and gay. Stay safe and thank you. Yeah, even the way when he tries to like diss me on stage and he's like, retarded. The way he says retarded is like, he's so effortlessly uncool. That's what I want to say about Ben. He's just like effortlessly uncool. So
okay,
great.
so she's gonna be going live today, y'all. I just found it. So she's gonna be going live today. Don't know what time, but she does have a tweet that says Operation legitimize Mitch seems to have backfired rather spectacularly. Hope you guys are as excited as Monday's episode as I am. So Monday's episode is going to be interesting. Today is going to be interesting. All right, much love, you guys. Sorry.
8 Birds writes, all I want for Christmas is justice for Charlie. Here's a Christmas present for you, Candace. Thank you. I am so grateful for you, and I pray for you constantly.
All right, we're going to get off this fucking reading comments bullshit. I don't want to listen to that. But today's, I don't know, maybe I'm going to go live and cover it. We'll see what time she goes live, guys. Because I do got to get my kids from school, but I do have until 5:30 to do that, so. Let's get into some of the Trump stuff here.
Protests in Iran now entering a 6th day in a row. Thousands are taking to the streets over a spiraling economic crisis there. President Trump, meantime, posting a stark warning to Iran's leadership early this morning, saying if the regime kills peaceful protesters, the U.S. would intervene, and that American forces are locked and loaded. Lucas Tomlinson is in West Palm Beach, Florida, with the very latest strong words from the president this morning. Lucas.
Indeed, Julie. Good morning. These protests have been growing nationwide in Iran over the past 6 days and are now in at least 27 different cities, Julie. And as you mentioned,
Valerie,
President
thank
Trump
you for the
posting a
subscription.
stern
God bless you.
warning
On the road to
regime
10,000
just
subs,
before
man.
3 a.m. in Palm Beach. I'll read you the full text, Julie. It says, the president said, quote, if Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter. At least 6 people have been reportedly killed in the protests this week. It started among shopkeepers and merchants in Tehran's Grand Bazaar. Students have now taken to the streets with truckers and bus drivers, protesting runaway inflation, a currency that has lost 40% of its value since Israel launched its 12-day war against Iran, supported by those American B-2 bombers, stealth fighter jets, and Tomahawk cruise missiles from the guided missile submarine USS Georgia. Iran's Secretary of its National Security Council responding to Trump in a post of his own, saying, quote, Trump should know that American interference in this internal issue is equivalent to chaos across the entire region and the destruction of American interests. The American people should know it was Trump who started the adventurism. They should look after their soldiers. Here was President Trump earlier this week.
I'm not going to talk about overthrow of a regime. They've got a lot of problems that are in. They have tremendous inflation. Their economy is bust. Their economy is no good.
Yeah, I was on my Ko-Fi looking at something. I was setting up an alert, and it kind of went all haywire. So trust me, that's not real. I wish it was though. But yeah, no, it definitely, it definitely got messed up. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I gotta stretch. I'm freaking tired. Oh.
And I know that people aren't so happy, but don't forget, every time they have a riot or somebody forms a group, little or big, they start shooting people.
The editors of the Wall Street Journal wrote late yesterday that the Ayatollah depends on oil revenue to keep his commanders loyal. If that oil revenue should be cut off, so too could be those loyalties. Julie?
Lucas Tomlinson, live in West Palm Beach, Florida. Thank you very much. For more on all of this, podcast host Ben Ferguson. Ben, thank you so much for talking to us.
Happy New Year.
What do you think of the president's strong words? I admire the fact that he is taking precautions before the killings could potentially start. And, you know, in his post, he essentially says, this is their thing. This is what they do. So, warning.
How can Trump sit next to this guy? Well, dude, I don't know if you guys know about this, but Netanyahu flew in, I can't remember when it was, and gifted Trump a gold pager, right? Obviously a death threat. I just don't know how he can sit across from this guy. I mean, it's politics, but oh my goodness.
Preemptively, that if you do anything, the U.S. will hold them accountable. You got to love that.
Yeah, look, I think the number one thing with President Trump is when he says something, especially when it deals with foreign policy and national security, he means it. And he means what he says here. I think he understands that the people there are going to be a target. I think he understands that we have the upper hand on oil. I think he understands the embargoes that are real. And we've seen this with Venezuela. And this is that FAFO of Donald Trump foreign policy. He meant it when he said to Iran, I will hit your nuclear sites. And that's exactly what we did. We pulled off the impossible mission to go and bomb those sites. And so what I think the president is saying here is very clear. We're not talking about invading Iraq, right? That's not what this is. What he is saying is, I have sanctions I can use against you, blockades, I can go after your boats, I can go after your oil, and I can hit military targets. And the president of the United States of America has been crystal clear. You don't mess with him. When he tells you there's a red line, he means it. Unlike Biden, unlike Obama, their red lines meant nothing to the world. Donald Trump's red lines clearly mean something, and you have a very quick history you can learn just how serious he is. And I think Iran should listen up.
Yeah. It depends on whether or not they're going to actually listen. We hope they do. The Wall Street Journal editorial board writing this, quote, the State Department is issuing messages in Farsi to Iran, but the Iranians risking their lives deserve meaningful support. This can mean restoring internet access when the regime cuts it off, unmasking regime thugs, and much more. Aaron McClain, retired Marine infantry officer, echoed that statement earlier today. Listen.
As the president's own comments imply, words are probably not going to be enough. We've been down this road before. These protests tend to have tragic endings, and it may be helpful for the United States to take action in support of the protesters.
All right, so he's talking about it may be important for the U.S. to take action. Does he mean preemptively before Iran gets a chance to harm protesters? What does he mean by that? you think?
Look, I think there's a very good chance of that. I also think that what Donald Trump, his core policy with Iran is, this is a murderous regime. They want to kill Americans. They want to take on America. They've declared they're already at war with America. And so if that is the playing field, then we are going to be more proactive, the same way we were with the Iran nuclear deal. We're not even going to let you get any closer. We're going to go before him preemptively and take it off the table. I also think the president understands that's the way that you have a more peaceful ending and a peaceful resolution, is if you go and you say, here's the line, you crossed it, we just did what we said we were going to do. Do you want to keep doing this? And that would destabilize Iranian's regime. Now, there's many on the left, they believe that Iran, if you go and destabilize, that's somehow bad for the Middle East. I disagree with that. I think they are a terrorist organization. The regime clearly supports state-sponsored terrorism.
Alert now. We are now learning more about the moments leading up to the capture of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Operation Absolute Resolve took months of planning, going all the way back to August, when the CIA deployed a unit to monitor Maduro's movements. And on
we've seen 11 more beautiful people. Double tap that screen, show some love and support, man. Get to 100 likes. If you guys want to get your name written down on the donor wall, send your donations through to www.ko-fi.com/see me now, no spaces, obviously. Love you guys.
Saturday, elite U.S. military forces used that intel to storm Venezuela and capture Maduro in the middle of the night. Here's Secretary of State Marco Rubio detailing that operation.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how fast they got in and out with him. I mean, seriously, I cannot believe it. It took them like, what, 4 hours? It's pretty crazy. They got him quick.
Without losing any American.
But you heard Trump say in his speech that they had little, little makes of his compound, so they knew everywhere he went, where he ate, where he traveled, what his house looked like. They had replicas of it. They had it down to the T.
Any American assets. I do think this is one of the most, daring, complicated, sophisticated missions this country has carried out in a very long time. Tremendous credit to the U.S. military personnel who did it. It was unbelievable.
U.S. Marine veteran Chad Robichaux, who helped lead rescue missions during the Afghanistan withdrawal, joins me now. And Chad, look, as someone who has experience extracting people, albeit the good guys, and understands how difficult that can be, what do you make of this mission, specifically the speed with which it occurred and the fact that there was no American loss of life?
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And you have to look at who these guys are. I mean, when President Trump and Secretary Hegseth legitimately designated these cartel regimes as terrorist groups, now you have the ability of Joint Special Operations Command.
It does. It just shows a sign that says, don't fuck with America. You know what I mean? I mean, they got in and out. I mean, a lot of people were saying, yeah, we've had bad luck in, Latin America. We better be careful. And, the fact that they got in and out like that and no people were killed. One missile hit one aircraft, but it was still flyable. It was a pretty good mission, and I'm optimistic for Venezuela. Like I said, the whole oil market and everything else not only supports America and our economy, but it'll help build Venezuela, right? If they do it correctly.
Partnering with our elite intelligence agencies. And when you have a commander-in-chief and secretary that'll get behind them and let them actually do their job, there's nowhere in the world our adversaries can't hide. And the world just got a demonstration of that. These guys prepared for months. They're able to, I mean, you're talking about Delta Force, SEAL Team 6's assaulters. They're able to go in at any moment, anywhere in the world. But the fact that they had time to prepare with intelligence from the CIA and prepare for this shows how precision it could be. And it's not just JSOC's, not just about Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. You're talking about the full capabilities and most robust.
Oh, trust me, Hugh, I know, bro. Trust me. It's just insane. It's just, I have to literally make it an effort to not look at the chat because of how fucking dumb some of these people are.
Intel networks in the world with the most logistically capable units that support those units to put them on targets and do exactly what they just did.
The fact that the CIA was on the ground in Venezuela was no surprise. We reported it on this program. President Trump announced, hey, the CIA is on the ground in Venezuela.
Joking. Fuck Biden.
So obviously, Nicolas Maduro knew. How high do you think our CIA operatives were in the Venezuelan government?
Oh, I mean, I think they were embedded all at the top. I mean, you're not just talking about CIA employees. You're talking about the network of intelligence and human intelligence and resourcing that we have. If they're doing their job, then they're going to have assets and resources all the way to the top, right next to Maduro. And obviously he knew that. That's why he was so paranoid. But you can be as paranoid as you want. You just can't stop the long arm of our U.S. intelligence agencies, especially when they're partnered with a unit like a Joint Special Operations Command.
Is there anything that surprised you about this mission?
No, it had to be done. Nicolas Maduro didn't just rise through legitimate leadership. He is a dictator that seized power from his people. 7 million Venezuelans had to flee the country, not because of policy, because his criminal governance of Venezuela. I have friends that are from Venezuela that I skydive with, and they had to leave during his takeover because they hadn't had to get their families out. They're celebrating right now. And aside from the Venezuelan people who got their country, who are going to get their country back now, I mean, the United States was suffering under the threat of this narco-terrorism. Venezuela is not the only one, by the way. We all know that, but it needed to be done. And President Trump, I feel President Trump gave grace and patience for Maduro to turn things around and do the right thing. And he wasn't going to do it. We knew he wasn't going to do it. And so it's no surprise that this happened. I am not surprised that when Joint Special Operations Command and our military troops are allowed to do their job, that they can do it with such precision and accuracy as they did. Not surprised by that at all. They've been handcuffed for so long. It's so amazing to see a commander-in-chief lets them do their job.
This absolutely speaks volumes about the coordination and leadership at the Pentagon. I mean, look, we have it on our screen right here. What it took to pull this off. You mentioned the CIA. They provided the intel, surveillance, target tracking. Then you have the Delta Force precisely rehearsed and executed the raid. They built literally a replica of Maduro's home. Think about that. And then the Night Stalker.
And what's crazy too is apparently Maduro had like a safe room that was like, surrounded by thick steel. And Trump said that he almost got to it, but they were prepared and they had a bunch of big blowtorches. Dude, that'd be crazy. He's just in the room and all of a sudden you see and they get him, just like in the movies, bro.
Stalkers flew in on very low altitudes to that location. Remember, that's the same group that supported the 2011 raid on bin Laden. Quickly, before we let you go, obviously, men and women did this mission. Without them, we don't have it. I want to talk quickly about the equipment because this equipment took fire and it did not come down. It stayed in the air. Flew everybody to where they needed to get to safety. What can you tell us about the equipment that was used in this mission?
Well, I mean, like you said, the Night Stalkers who went in, I mean, they're going to have the best aircraft in the world. They're going to have the best equipment. But one of the things you mentioned is the best equipment for preparing. I've seen at some of these elite units, the training rooms where you can add modular walls and move walls around. You can get schematics through intelligence or through architectural records of a room, a building, a ship, a vessel anywhere in the world, and you could rebuild that facility and rehearse in the real scenario that you're going to
6 more beautiful people see. Double tap that screen, will be at 100 likes. Love y'all.
Be presented with when you go through and you breach through a door. So these operators have the facilities that they have, the training equipment they have, not just what you use in the mission, but having our military funded correctly and be able to train properly. And then when they actually get on target using the best equipment.
Did you guys notice too? I haven't smoked a cigarette this whole stream. I quit smoking, y'all. You gotta be proud of me for that.
It's why it's so important. It's why you hear veterans like me preaching or cheerleading when we get our budgets properly distributed to our military troops, so they can actually train to be able to do something like this when it's time to do it.
The capacity of the United States military never ceases to amaze. Chad Robichaux, thank you. Thanks for your insight. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here. We are back with a Fox News alert. This morning, the UN Security Council is expected to hold an emergency meeting on the U.S. capture of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. The meeting is listed under the agenda as, quote, threats to international peace and security.
Thanks, Pumpkin. It's just when I want to quit things, it's random. I'll have a hard time quitting, and then all of a sudden, randomly, it's like, boom, I just quit. It's weird. But yeah, I haven't smoked a cigarette in a long time. I really don't care for them. I mean, obviously, I'm still smoking my weed, but I don't really care about cigarettes. I just wanted to quit so bad, and I don't drink alcohol anymore. So, I pretty good New Year's start to New Year.
and is expected to begin at 10 a.m. It comes after leaders in Colombia
Thank
called
you,
for this
Stacey. Love
very
ya.
meeting, saying they believe the U.S. set a, quote, dangerous precedent with their actions. So here's a question. What is next for the future of Venezuela? History could point to the answer. Experts are pointing to the similarities between the U.S. capture and indictment of Nicolas Maduro and the 1990 takedown of Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. Noriega surrendered to U.S.
Hugh, don't talk about that, okay? I got spinal stenosis, okay? I got a bad back, so weed helps, bro. I'm proud of you, Pumpkin. Thank you, Symbiotion. Sim, I'm just gonna call you Sim. Thank you so much. Gateway drug? Nah, bro. For some people it is. People just don't have it's a gateway drug for people who don't have control and always want to search for a new high, right? That's the problem, is if people always want something stronger or something different or want to experiment, then experimenting turns into addiction. Right? Cuz I'm 5 years sober off fentanyl. I used to do those blues, right? And I'm sober. I got sober all by myself. Didn't need treatment, nothing. And I went through that life. I lived, but I wasn't like a junkie who was like on the street all bent over. I was like in that life, like doing things. And I changed myself around. So I'm very proud to where I am as of right now versus, back in the day. Thank you for the 100 likes, guys. I love you guys. And I know you're joking, bro. It's always a good time to chill with you guys, though. Oh yeah. I just think any drug is a gateway drug. I don't think it's the drug itself. I think it's the personality, the wanting to the wanting to search for different feelings.
Forces and was then flown to Miami to face drug trafficking charges. He was then sentenced to decades behind bars. Now former Attorney General Bill Barr says Maduro could suffer the same fate.
I have a high degree of confidence he'll ultimately be convicted.
100% B Coble. 100. Like when I was addicted to something else and I smoked, I always said, like, dude, the feeling of smoking green is the best feeling ever. Like, it helps everything. It helps hunger. It helps pain. It helps, anxiety. And I just always told myself, like, why am I doing other stuff? And I finally just said, fuck it, I'm done. And yeah. So God bless you guys, man. I love you guys.
And all the legal arguments that have been raised.
Thank you, Stacy. 100%. Like I said, I never thought I'd even hit 1,000 subscribers, let alone we're almost to 10,000. So double tap that screen, man. Show some love and support. Let's get to it, man. You guys, hold on. I don't know if you've seen it, but we need a good laugh for today. So let's get a little bit off topic real quick, and let's have a laugh together, okay? Can we do that? Can we have a motherfucking laugh together? Or wait, I think it's on my... Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. No, it's not. Okay, hold on. Dude, I can't get over the fact that a fucking mouse fell in front of me the other day, bro. We need to watch this. Oh my god, dude. I just can't. Watch this, guys. Let's get a good laugh in. Are you guys ready? Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro. I just fucking can't. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Much love to Marine 4913. God bless you. Bro, if anyone doesn't know about the mouse that fell on my fucking computer while I was streaming, go watch the video I dropped. I'm surprised it didn't get more views, bro. Oh my god. I wish that the mouse would have fell right in front of here, bro, so you guys could have seen it. But it just spawned out of thin air and fell right here on my computer, and I was out, bro. I got up and I went, it was over, bro. If you guys want to watch the video and I have me put it on, put a 1 in the chat, we can watch it together for a good laugh. But man, that shit's funny as fuck, bro.
Really were raised during the prosecution of Noriega, which was a very parallel situation. I think he will be convicted, and I think he's looking at sentences similar to...
I did scream like a girl, okay? It happened in front of the world, and I'm not ashamed, okay? I shared it with the world.
If not bigger than Noriega's sentence. He's committed far more crimes in my mind than Noriega did.
Bro, and my cat ate that motherfucking mouse, bro.
Question is now, will Maduro's arrest lead to the end of drug cartels terrorizing?
You guys want to watch it? All right, let's watch it real quick. Let's check her out.
Detrimental to an instrumental.
Yo. Overstimulating me. Chill out. Don't know why the fucking playback speed was so high. All right, let's watch. Ready? Dude, I was out, bro. I was out of there. Watch.
My credentials penciled in.
Dude, I wish the mouse came in front of the camera, bro, because my mom was like, what if people think that, like, you're faking it? And I was like, no, that was a full, genuine reaction.
And we some titans fighting men when the time ripens.
And you can watch my eyes following it all the way down to the computer.
Editing the clip. Funniest, I just apparently have...
Dude, get my ugly ass face out of here, bro. Dude, my mom said I look like I'm special ed right here. My own mother said I look like I'm special ed. Bro, I hear it, dude. All right. Let's start the humiliation ritual. Bro, I hear it, dude. Dude. I hear it, bro. Bro, I was out of here quicker than... Bro, and there's like a hole over here because we had to get to a pipe. I called it too. I said, I hope one don't follow me. And I'm afraid one's going to jump out of this hole on top of me, bro. Woo! Ah! It's over. It did! The mouse dropped on the fucking computer! Ah! Ah, it's over here! S'more! S'more! And now when you hear me yelling s'more, I'm yelling for my cat. I'm literally yelling for my cat right now, bro. I had to go find that fucking dude. Where's the broom? S'more! S'more! I threw the Swiffer. The Swiffer is a legitimate weapon. Myself. S'more, come here, bud. Oh. Where's my chair? Where's my cat? I eventually got my cat. Watch. I wish I could show you guys.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Cat, here's him. We're gonna get this mother. There's my cat. I went and got my cat. Hey, the cat's an asshole, bro. Literally, I started my stream and it's on camera. If you guys go all the way to the beginning of the stream, he scratched my whole back all the way down. I don't even know if you can see it. But he scratched my ass, bro. It was over with. Yeah, I got my cat, bro. I deployed the cat. Watch this. And he knew right away what time it was. Oh, my cat. He knew right away what time it was. Here's him. We're gonna get this motherfucker. Oh, he's ready. He's gonna get him. I wish I could show you guys. Dude, watch how scared I get once I'm starting to take a picture.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I need to record. Oh! Oh! He's getting it! He's got it! Good job, S'more!
He got it!
Oh, now he ran away. Oh, no, he's second. Good job, S'more! Oh, he ran away. I don't know where he took it to this day. I cannot find it. Oh, I know he loves me, but he needs to chill out with... I'm about to get his ass declawed, bro. But anyway. He took it. Don't know where he took it. Don't care. I just sat my ass down right away. Watch. Oh. Where's my chair? Grab the Swiffer, grab the headphones, grab the chair, sit my ass down. Oh. I'm looking around like, oh god. Oh god. Holy shit. Oh yeah, Carl, you're watching a residential military operator with his cat operative, right? S'more deserves a treat. I agree, Pumpkin. Bruh. He is a house cat. He doesn't go outside. I don't allow my cats to go outside. Yo, I need to clip my reaction. Yo, this is where I found, like, it came to me. I was like, damn, they just got a genuine reaction from me. That was so funny. I thought this was going to go viral so bad, bro, and it didn't do nothing. Needs to go back and clip my reaction, bro. It would have, if the mouse would have fallen in front of the camera, or like on me, myself, I wish it would have fallen on me, bro. That would have been a funnier reaction. I probably would have fucking fell on the floor. Bro, I knew that was gonna happen. I don't even know where he fell from. All of a sudden I was sitting there, I was saying, I feel like something's gonna fall on me. And the fucker fell literally right here on my shit, almost in my coffee. Oh. And that fucker scurried off, man. I heard him in the ceiling. I knew, oh man, I don't want to let go of my Swiffer. Yeah, I grabbed S'more, and I threw him where it was, and he caught it, so we're good. I don't know. All I know is I screamed like a little girl in front of the whole world. We're good. Oh Jesus. Yeah. Oh. God. That's why you guys love me, man. That's why you guys gotta subscribe, because shit like this happens. Now let's watch the slow-mo reaction, bro. Okay. You did look a little dude, my mom told me I look special ed, bro. Man, straight up. I know I did, bro. Alright. It was on purpose, okay? Bro, it was scurrying up in these fucking ceiling tiles up here and my cat was running around going crazy looking up at the ceiling, and I could hear it running, and I was like, man, I hope one don't fall on me. And I was looking around, and it just spawned out of nowhere and fell in front of me. I was just like, oh my lord, bro. I ran away. Dude, I threw my headphones right on the ground, bro. All right, let's watch my special ed look right here. Watch. All right, bro. Okay. At this point, register me for speech therapy, right? I was out of there, bro. I ran away, bro. All right, we'll watch it one more time and then we're done. I know, Carl. I know. It's so awesome. Especially with my live streams. Dude, my whole family was dying when we watched it. All right, enough of my stupid special ed self. Okay. I know, dude. In the ceiling, it sounded a whole lot freaking like, dude. It sounded a whole lot more bigger. Like it sounded like a freaking rat, bro. And there's a hole right here because we had to get to piping. Because this room right here is right under the bathroom. And I was thinking it was going to fall out of there. But it like pulled a Minecraft move and spawned right here. I don't know. It's just My life's a movie, bro. I truly think I live in a simulation, okay? So if I tend to have main character syndrome, I'm sorry. Thank you for the subscription, Carl, though. I appreciate you, brother. You're not going to regret supporting your boy. Idiot 1 2 3 4 5 6 9. Seaman. Yeah, you guys always say that joke and you think it's funny. Oh my god, semen. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. I don't know what your obsession is with it, but it doesn't make you look good in the chat when you talk about that, okay? Things like that, bud. I love you guys, though. In love with you. Fallen in love with you. All right, let's go.
Citizens, both local and abroad. Joining me now is a former DEA attaché who spent 3 years on the ground in Venezuela, coming face to face with some of these very narco terrorists we are talking about. Wes Tabor. Wes, thank you so much for joining us. You are the perfect person to talk to about this, given your very specific area of expertise. When it comes to Venezuela,
bro, Carl, and I live in North Dakota, bro. So I wish I could get you a fucking I wish I could show you on camera, but like it's all snow piles everywhere around my house, right? So, and it's like -10 degrees outside. So all the mice and the fucking whatever are coming in the house. And I got a cat and I reinforced everything, so hopefully not much came in. But one fell on my computer and violated House Penal Code 7897M, M for mouse. So, you know what I'm saying? The mouse is now, he got the death penalty, and I deployed my operative kitty to get him, and mission complete. But I must tell you, he violated House Penal Code 7897M, okay, for falling on my computer, okay? I have house codes here, okay? And that freaking mouse definitely violated my space, okay? I did not ask for a mouse to drop on my fucking computer. And that fucker recovered quick. He fell, and he just ran away. Right behind this bookshelf over here. And I had to lift up a fucking couch to grab my cat and deploy him. So, yeah. It's a great channel you're on, okay? Subscribe, show some love and support, join the community. This is the best community on YouTube, okay? And I'm a nice guy, okay? I literally will make you laugh, okay? Like it's no joke, okay? Things like that. And I am stealing that from whatever the guy Damien on Facebook. He's funny as fuck. Go check him out. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Come on, play, man.
What are some things that people here at home may not understand about how the government there operates?
You have to understand that when they took over Venezuela, and I say they, the party of Hugo Chavez, which Maduro ended up going even further with that, right? They wanted to do a couple things. They wanted to secure the country under the name of socialism, bring everyone in under the warm arms of collectivism, right? And then once they got in there, they started giving everyone the Heisman and started taking away their rights. And then what happened was we had a full-on dictator.
Dude, my dog loves my beard. Dude, you should have seen what my bearded... I tried to show him my bearded dragon. He was in his cage. And I brought my milk snake up to it. And I've never seen my bearded dragon get mad or show emotion like that. But he did not like the snake, bro. He was like, get that fucker away from me.
Dictatorship that blew outward, right? And it was affecting the whole Western Hemisphere. But what they were doing was they were drawing in terrorists from around the world.
I'm gonna go grab
see that in the indictment
Spritz.
when they talk about.
I'm gonna let this play for a second. I'm gonna go grab Spritz.
Giving passports and identities to some of these terrorists from Hezbollah, Hamas, and this was increasing as we went along. And we're not just talking about narco terrorists. We're talking about terrorists from the Middle East. And you have to remember that this government was made up of a potpourri of bad actors, you know, and Maduro is just one of them. And we have 15 or 16 of the top level cabinet members and generals indicted. And that was my job when I went there. Identify a lot of these people, target them, get them arrested, and get people that we could build a case on. And that's what we did. And it wasn't just me, of course. There were just many, many other people putting this together for many years until it culminated with this action by President Trump. Hats off to him.
Well, when it comes to just how connected Maduro is to narco-terrorism, he has been accused of purposefully trying to import Tren de Aragua members into this country to cause destruction, chaos, death. Is that true?
Yeah, listen, I wrote a book about it called Infiltrate America, Blood Routes and the Rise of
Yo.
Latin American Gangs.
He must have heard his name because he was ready to come out, y'all. He's shedding a little bit, so I'm trying to help him shed. What's up, bro? Say what's up to the chat. He's saying what's up, guys, so say what's up back because it's super disrespectful to ignore him, okay? But anyway, God bless.
Tren de Aragua goes back to the state of Aragua, where we have one of Maduro's soon-to-be, hopefully, co-defendants, Tarek El-Asaimi, who is a known terrorist, whose father was an Iraqi Ba'athist terrorist, and he was the vice president for a while. I'm the only agent to ever have met him in Venezuela when I was there. And he's a bad character. And what he was doing was, we believe, and this is coming from open source information, you can look at it now, it's in this indictment, kind of hinting toward it, providing fake backstop identities for terrorists to travel around the world. And that was great back in the
And he's shedding right now. And he likes it when I pull it off, see? And he just sits here and he lets me pull it off. He likes it. I got the neck fold shed. Look at him, look at it. You want to eat it? No, he's just, he's lit, bro. Welcome in, everybody. God bless God, man. Hey, man, you don't gotta be afraid of this. He doesn't show any sort of anger at all. Like, he's so chill. He's looking for food right now. He's hungry. He's growing so fast, though, aren't you? Boop, boop. He doesn't get mad at all. Like, at all. Dude, I might have to eat it, bro. What are you looking at, bro? He's just looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about me for?
90s and 2000s, when Venezuela Passport actually had some authority.
What's up, bro?
Now it's not even worth the paper it's printed on, right? Yeah. But these are the types of things that they were doing. And they were allowing this permissive environment, not only allowing it, but making money off it. At the end, you had Celia Flores,
Welcome in, Rachel,
the wife of Maduro. You have Nicolas, the son. And what they were doing was working hand in glove with Tren de Aragua to move those dope boats that we were blowing up in the Caribbean. That was all Tren de Aragua with the help of the son of Nicolas Maduro. So you have to look at this and say, well, this is something you're going to see in the movies, right? Because it just can't happen in the real world. And you have people defending it. That's the other thing. We have 8 million displaced Venezuelans around the world, and you could see them celebrating because they get to go home now. And so, you know, these nefarious actors, if we're not careful and we don't get a grip on what's going on in the country and help them in some fashion, we're going to have that vacuum,
Wes,
and we don't want to kill by bad
and that brings me to my next question.
I got him in like November. I can't remember when I got him, but he's literally like 3-4 times the size he was. Oh, look, here's some shit on his leg too. If you guys want to see. When I got him, and he's just such a nice animal. They're good starter. If you like reptiles, they're good starter reptiles for kids. Like my daughter holds them all the time. My 3-year-old. Yeah, I'm talking about you, fool. Don't look at me like that. You're starting to offend me.
Do you foresee happening next? Can the United States trust the vice president turned acting president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez? She's being described as deeply ambitious and a hardline socialist, just like Maduro. What do you know about her, and can the U.S. trust her?
Let me tell you, a couple days ago on Fox, I said this. I have one word for her, and that is feckless. She is feckless. In fact, I call her Miss Feckless, okay? She is the same cloth that Nicolas Maduro is. Now, their constitution says, just like ours, right? You have authorities that are going to be transferred and implemented when people are taken out of office, and that's what's happening right now. But you have to remember, we have other indicted members of the cabinet. You have Padrino Lopez. You have Diosdado Caballo. These guys hold the keys to the military in Venezuela, and they're not under arrest. In fact, right now, they're plotting against this new president, right? Yeah. So we have some serious issues on the ground, and I'm sure President Trump, the agency, and DOJ and so forth, they're all looking at how can we help transition this in some fashion. I know President Trump is committed to that. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we are just at the beginning of this story here, but as Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said, and I'm paraphrasing, Maduro messed around and found out, and it appears after all that you have said that we are a safer.
No, he didn't say he messed around and found out. He said he fucked around and found out, bro. Say it right way. Yeah, Trump said something about Greenland too, which to me is crazy.
Greenland's leader has declared enough is enough after U.S. President.
Because apparently Trump said we need Greenland too or something. Something crazy.
Greenland's leader has declared enough is enough after U.S. President Donald Trump again
Red Ear sliders are pretty dope.
and spoke of taking over the vast territory. Trump has repeatedly said he wants to annex Greenland, an autonomous Danish territory with significant mineral resources. Concerns have sharpened in Greenland and Denmark after the capture of Venezuela's president in a stunning US raid on Saturday, with Trump stating Washington intended to oversee governance of the South American country. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One early on Monday, Trump said he'd revisit the topic of Greenland in a few weeks.
We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security, and the European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
That followed similar remarks on Sunday, which prompted the stiff rebuke from Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Friedrich Nielsen. Threats, pressure and talk of annexation have no place between friends, he posted on Facebook late on Sunday. Enough is enough. No more fantasies about annexation. Support came swiftly from Nordic and Baltic leaders. President Alexander Stubb of Finland posted on X, "No one decides for Greenland and Denmark, but Greenland and Denmark themselves." Greenland's strategic location.
You know, and I understand because the world's getting to a place where, you know, for the last few decades, we've been kind of stagnant, each country working on themselves. There's been some sort of peace. But now I feel like we're getting to the point where the superpowers are wanting to expand and make moves. And I feel like Trump is doing this because in the future, if anything happens, he wants to have geopolitical or he wants to have strategic bases and strategic places that we have in the world just in case something happened, right? Because right now, each of the superpowers are wanting to conquer. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like having a military base and making business moves with countries like this isn't the problem, but you have to do it within the right ways, right?
Between Europe and North America makes it a critical site in the US ballistic missile defense system, while its resources align with Washington's ambition to slash dependence on Chinese exports. On December 21, Trump appointed Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry as special envoy to Greenland. Landry has publicly expressed support for incorporating the territory into the United States.
On Greenland,
On Greenland now?
Yeah, we're up on Greenland.
How did we come up to Greenland?
So,
I 100% agree with you, Matthew. I just think that, but eventually I just hope that we stop fucking with Israel. That's what I hope, But I don't know, because they're so strategic, you never know what consequences could come from that. I don't know, it's just scary to think about.
do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
Well, I don't want to talk about Greenland. Let's talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine. We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
Because it's like, would you guys rather have Russian and Chinese ships really close to America and Russian and Chinese bases really close to America, where if they wanted to strike, they're within super close striking distance? Or would you rather have us try and make bases and make good with what's around us and what's a little bit farther out, so we have control over our surroundings, right? I mean, that's the whole goal here.
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification
Oh, I don't want to talk about Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And
Yeah,
the European-
Matthew, that was fucked. I don't know. I'm telling you, everybody's compromised. That's why the Epstein files aren't coming out. None of that. Everybody's compromised. Everything has to do with them boys. I'm not asleep to it. I know. We're on different topics lately, but we've talked about it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck to do about it. I mean, the only way I think anything could happen to where we stop messing with them is if we just completely rearranged our leaders, got rid of everybody who could possibly be compromised, and fight for new leadership, right? But that would take a lot of stuff that we don't want to see, like violence in the streets, things of that nature, which none of us want. So it's just a very big situation where it's like, I wish President Trump, I would respect him a whole lot more if he was compromised. I would respect him a whole lot more for going against him and making it America first, even if stuff came out that was bad against him. I feel like I would sit there and be like, okay, yeah, you did that bad shit. You did that bad shit, but at least you did something good and you didn't care about your image and you put America first, right? I mean, that's what I wish he would do. Is like, okay, fuck my image. I'm just going to do what's best for America.
The European Union needs us to have it, and they know that.
So, I don't know. Apparently, Tim Walz is dropping out of the race for re-election due to the fraud scandals. So, let's see what he has to say.
DFL Governor Tim Walz has dropped out of the 2020.
Yeah, but they can have sovereignty, but Pumpkin, within the whole history of the world, there's always been people and countries or kingdoms, whatever you want to say, that have been allies, right? You always want allies. You want to have strategic places because every single superpower in the world wants to conquer the world, right? So it's like, yeah, we can care about sovereignty and we can care about all that, but it's not about taking away their sovereignty. It's about becoming allies to be on a team to fight against the opposing force that would potentially try and take you over, right? So that's the whole thing, is that making allies and continuing to, set the boundaries and do what we're doing, I think is a good thing, because if we want to remain the superpower, we need to do strategic things, not only geopolitically, but within other realms of everything else, So I mean, there is some validity to that, but it's been within its nature to want to conquer the world. So China wants to conquer the world, Russia wants to conquer the world, the United States wants to conquer the world. If the United States wants to go to Venezuela and make deals with their oil, make Venezuela a better place, also benefit the United States, that's great, because China had infrastructure deals there. They wanted to build a port. They would have been very close to the United States. So taking Venezuela was a good idea. And not only that, but, you guys get what I'm saying. I'm going to move on to this question. What do you think about the idea of we're going to get J.D. Vance for presidency? No. I'm not for J.D. Vance because he came out of nowhere. He was put in the position he's put in. He's a technocrat person. And, yeah, I agree. I mean, if we're going to get anywhere, why don't we take Mexico? I mean, I feel like it would be a big advantage if we went into Mexico. Yes, it would be difficult, but if anybody's an enemy right now when it comes to contraband, it's Mexico. But anyway, no, J.D. Vance was put in the position he's in. I don't think he conducts any of his own thoughts because he's told what to think. And I don't know. I don't know who to believe, because we're at the point right now where we're all waking up. The Great Awakening is happening and we know everybody's background. So it's like, who do we vote for? Who do we put in everywhere? You know what I mean? We can't, because they're all fucking compromised. It's just, we're in a situation right now where it's going to be interesting to see what happens within the next 10 to 15 years, And I don't want violence. Violence is never the answer, but I mean, people are getting fed up with being sold out and lied to and everything else. So, but I do agree with trying to expand our geopolitical landscape and trying to get advantages in other places and doing deals with other countries so we can protect ourselves.
6 governors race. Now, Walz had planned to seek a historic third term this fall.
Well, 100%. Why do you think that the government never went for Mexico? Because the Democrats and other people had deals with the amount of contraband that was coming into the United States and were allegedly taking money, right?
He can't focus on fixing
How
the
do you
state's
think we paid for a lot of our things? Like, it's not just tax money.
fraud crisis while campaigning. The governor is expected to speak about his decision at any moment. We have members of our news team in that room ready to report on that for you throughout the day. This is what it looks like right now. You can see actually our Caroline Cummings in that shot there. We have multiple cameras covering this, multiple reporters. Obviously, very big news as the governor announced his.
That's what I was saying, Matthew, is that it's going to happen. It's going to eventually be, you know, I literally just said it a few topics ago. It was, you know, the only way we're ever going to change anything and be able to put America first is if we just completely change the leadership. And in order to do that, it's going to take blood, sweat, and tears. And no one wants to see violence. But I mean, if we want our country to survive and last and be America first, we really need someone to fucking step up, or the citizens themselves are going to step up. So, I mean, I don't know. But at this point, I feel like, you know, because not even the politicians are safe. If things go south and things get messed up, the politicians are in for it too. So it's like, why would we put ourselves in this position? You know, it's not smart. So it's all about money. It's all about power, and it's all about who can you manipulate. And people are waking up and done with it. So yeah. I like you too, Matthew. God bless.
Run for re-election less than.
Welcome to the See Me Now family, Matthew. See, I told you you'd like me. People think that I'm like this Democrat or Republican or, bro, I'm independent. I search for the truth. I want what, if I die today, I want what's best for my kids when I leave them here. Period. That's all I care about. That's it. So yeah. If you guys want to support the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button with the notification bell. Double tap that screen. Thank you for the 110 likes. YouTube does take a brutal 30% when you super chat, so consider going to the link that I have pinned in the comments and donate through there and get your name written on the donor wall. God bless. What do you think about Thomas Massey? Well, I think he's one of the only ones who go against the grain, who wants truth, and you know, he lives off grid. He's been through a lot, but I mean, I don't know. I like to have faith in people. I don't know much about the guy, but I would love to, you know, I would love to see someone get in office that has us for himself, or has us for like his number one goal, America first. And you know, just because we, you know, if someone like how Trump took Venezuela, people say, how is that American first? Well, it's about doing business. You can still do other things outside of the country and it's still America first. You know what I mean? But people just have to understand that, wait, what'd you say? I've been saying this for a while. There's a white replacement going on. Oh, 100%. I mean, it's happening right before our very own eyes. They're trying to replace white people. They're trying to sit there and say, well, okay, we can't get into this because I'm on YouTube. I'm sorry. But I agree, Matthew, I agree with you. And we agree with probably on everything. But I can't talk about this on YouTube right now. Okay. So, yeah. But God bless you, man. Go follow my Kick and my Rumble. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, man, so I can't keep going into a bunch of stuff. I don't want to get demonetized. But I 100% agree. People are afraid to say, you know, like, I was watching Nick Shirley when he was getting flashed and getting SA'd. And they kept saying, say BLM, say Black Lives Matter, say Black Lives Matter. And he said, all lives matter. White lives matter too. All black, white, brown, all lives matter. And they just got so mad. And it's so crazy. The same thing that they complain about is the same thing that they're doing to us. And it's just dumb. And at this point, you know, we just need to be together. We're all in this universe together, regardless of what religion, what political views. When we die, we all die the same. Okay? We don't know what happens after we die. So the Bible, the Talmud, the Quran, all that shit, put it aside. None of us know if it's even true or not. We all go off what's called faith. What I have faith in is the universe and my fellow man, and for people to stick up for each other. because what you put into the world is what you get out. Okay? And now you can start seeing the results of what's been being put into the world by propaganda and everything else. And now we're starting to reverse that and do other things and put other things into the world that are more beneficial to ourselves as a society, right? And yeah. 100% Matthew, I agree. 100%. But God bless you guys. Let's get in this video, man. I love having conversations like this with you guys, though, because then you guys get to know the real me and get to know who I am. And you know, a lot of people come on this channel and like to talk shit to me and say stuff, but then once we really get to the meat and potatoes of our beliefs, it changes. People like me. So, see, I don't mind if like if there's a bunch of different colors and religions in America, but my thing is this: just like how colored people say, "Well, I want to stay within my race and marry within my race," that's not racist. But as soon as a white person says it is. And I just think that we should all be able to do what we want to do. 20 years ago, it was not like this. So, you know, we just need to reverse it. Everybody's important. Everybody's life is important. And you know, everybody's wills are important. But we need to understand that, you know, for us as a society to work together, we need to also understand tribalism and the norms that come within each culture and everything else, and understand that sometimes being separated is better, but you just because you're separated within how you reproduce or you do whatever else doesn't mean that you're separated within the community and as a people, you know. But anyway, let's go.
4 months ago, but as we have all seen, the fraud and the spotlight on it in Minnesota has put some pressure on Governor Walz, and we're about to hear from him.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Like many,
see how this guy just chills. He has not moved once. He's a good boy, mwah, aren't you? Yes, the good little lizard. Yeah, what's up, boy? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state. And it ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of a crisis. I don't want to mince words here. Donald Trump and his allies in Washington and in St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in the country to raise a family. They've already begun trying to withhold funds that were meant to help families afford childcare. And they have no...
I just hate how this guy gets up on the mic and acts like he had nothing to do with it at all. It's just ridiculous.
...intention of stopping there. Make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we've made systemic changes in the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've hired people we fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding in partnership with the federal government, where we saw widespread criminal activity. We've put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs, and we've hired a new head of program integrity to make sure that those locks can't be broken. All across this state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this problem. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front lines defending the integrity of our state's programs, and I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. There is more to do. A single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud should be intolerable. And while there's a role to play for everyone, from the legislature to prosecutors to insurance companies to local and county government, the buck does stop with me. My administration has been taking fast, decisive action to solve this crisis. We'll win the fight against the fraudsters. But the political gamesmanship...
Dude, at any point within the time that those freaking Leering centers were within the years that they've been there, they could have been raided like they were recently. And I'm so glad that I live in North Dakota because, dude, me and my LLC and the money I get from this and other things with the taxes I have to pay, bro, I swear to God, if anything that like this happened, Allegedly, I would not be paying.
We're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder. We've got Republicans here in the state legislature playing hide and seek with potential whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into our daycares, demanding access to our children.
What? He just said breaking into our daycares. Demand access. There was no children in the daycare, bro. We all got it on video. This guy is literally, oh my God.
We've got the President of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongfully confiscating funds that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and it's dangerous. Republicans are playing politics with the future of this state. It's shameful. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. We welcome ideas from anyone, in any party, from any walk of life, who wants to help us continue to stay ahead of these criminals. And we welcome the involvement of the federal government. I am grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who have been helping us fight this fight for years. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington. These opportunists are willing to hurt our people to score cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve this problem, and every intention of trying to profit off of it.
Yeah, okay. Well, ever since we fucking got the videos out and stuff like that, the daycares, quote unquote, have been raided, and things are being done about it. Nothing was being done about it before. So I cannot believe this guy is getting up on here and saying what he's saying.
Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more of that in Minnesota. In September, I announced that I would seek a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave it my all, we would win that race. But as I reflect on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute that I spend defending my own political interest would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who want to prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of this race, and I'll let others worry about the election while I focus on the work that's in front of me for the next.
Yep. He'll let others worry about the election and about the problems he caused, and he's just going to step away quietly. Yep.
Next year. I'm passing on this race with zero sadness and zero regret. I did not run for this job to have the job. I ran for the job to do the job. Minnesota faces enormous challenges this year, and I refuse to spend a single minute doing anything other than rising to meet this moment. Minnesota has always come first and always will. That's what I believe servant leadership demands of me. As an optimist, I'll hold out some hope that my friends on the other side of the aisle will consider what servant leadership demands of them in the moment. We can work together to combat against the criminals. We can work together to rebuild the public's trust and make our state stronger. But make no mistake about it, if Republicans continue down the path of abusing power, smearing entire communities, and running their own fraudulent game at the expense of Minnesotans, I will fight back with everything that I have. I am absolutely confident a Democratic and a DFLer will hold this seat come November. I'm confident that I'll find ways to contribute.
Dude, oh my God. I'm so glad I don't live in Minnesota. A fucking Democrat better not get in office.
To the state that I love.
And I'm not Republican either, but dude, I just feel like at this point you gotta choose the lesser evil or what the one who's gonna do the better. I don't know, dude. I don't know who we need in there. At this point, bro, make me governor.
Long after next January. But there'll be time to worry about all that later.
I'm gonna run for governor. Call me Mouse Man running for governor.
Today, I'm proud of the work we've done to make Minnesota America's best place to live and raise kids. From our new paid leave policy to our...
I'm not going to lie. North Dakota is the best place to raise kids, bro. You want low rent, you want to come and get some decent pay, come to North Dakota, bro.
Child tax credit to our school lunch programs feeding every single child. And I'm doubly proud of the incredible team we put together to make this vision a reality. I want to take a moment to thank every member of my staff, to every single state employee who has been part of this fight. Now more than ever, I need you on the job I need you to help work together.
You guys vote for me. Vote for me, Pumpkin.
To tackle the important work in front of us. And most of all, I want Minnesotans to know how grateful I am for the opportunity to serve this state, for the privilege that I have been given to serve in this office. I'm on the job. I'm focused on making sure that we stay America's best place to live and raise kids. No one will take that away from us. I'm proud of the way we treat our neighbors. I'm proud of the way that we welcome people to this state. I'm proud.
Yeah, he's just proud of the way that, you know, you go up to a fucking daycare, quote unquote, and you go in there and they slam the door on you, they yell at you, they call the cops on you, they beat you up. And there's no kids in there, but yet they're supposed to have 90-something kids. Bro, I've worked at a daycare. I've worked at schools. I've been around it. Dude, there's kids from like 6 in the morning to 5 o'clock because parents have to work early, bro. Like there should have been at least a few kids there if you went, at least to make themselves look decently honest.
Proud of the way that we innovate, and I'm proud of the way that we are optimists for the future. No one's taking this away from us.
Huge protests right now in New York. Let's see.
Not the fraudsters, certainly not this president, not on my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you. I'll give you an update on America's best paid family medical leave program that is now a week into it. And at that time, I'll take all your questions. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris. I'll be back tomorrow. That's all time tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you.
And you heard from Governor Tim Walz there making it official that he will not seek re-election. You heard the governor essentially reading his statement that was released earlier this morning, talking about how he simply can't focus on a re-election campaign.
I'm sorry, but people are so stupid when they want to protest about stuff like that. Like, I don't get it. Let's see what Sneako's doing.
To be prosperous, and we're trying to do our best here in the United States.
I love Arepas personally.
Thank you.
One of my favorites.
Thank you.
What about the 100 civilians that died? After that mission, the U.S. killed 100 innocent Venezuelans.
As far as I'm aware,
dude, it doesn't linebacker. It doesn't matter if you're trying to walk in or not. If you go to the door and you knock, you're gonna see a kid in there. With the way that those daycares were set up, you should have seen a kid. Like, I don't get why you're defending that. Like, that's fucking crazy. You should have seen a child. Like, I mean, it's just crazy.
as of earlier today, I haven't seen any reports. I saw 30 Cubans die and a few numbers of Venezuelans, which is a shame. Many of them were protecting the dictator. We obviously...
How to spell Mark. Respect to the creator holding it down live. I just dropped a like commenting because I know how that feeling too. I'm live myself right now, sending support from one creator to another. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you. Sending support to you as well. Everybody go sub to How to Speak. All my real ones go sub to respect to the creator holding it down live. I just dropped a like commenting because I know how to spell Mark. Is he really live? Let's see. Liked your stream, bro. Thank you for dropping it or showing up and dropping a like. God bless you, brother. Everybody go to this man's stream. I don't know if he's still live. It's not loading. Go to this man's stream. Go say what's up in the chat. Go support him, but don't support him more than you support me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, go show him some love, man. God bless. Yeah, I don't know. It's not popping up, bro, but go support this guy. Thank you for coming in. Huh. He must just have got off. Holy shit, he's almost at 100,000 subs. Much love, bro. I'll be there soon. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, go check him out, man. Go show some love and support.
We're obviously concerned about that, but I just want to make sure that your audience knows that this is not the only outcome. Maduro lost the election in 2024. He had the opportunity to leave and promote a democratic transition in Venezuela, and he refused to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Gracias. Muchas gracias. That's not Convi, you racist. Where's Mamdani? Probably. That'd be
at the mayor's office.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Let's see what he's doing right now. I don't wanna...
Hey, shout out to you.
DJL7.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is boring. Let's see if see what Nick Shirley is. If he's posted anything. 12 minutes ago, he used to upload some.
How bad is this fraud?
This is the worst fraud in human history.
How have Somalians gotten into the system to fraud the American taxpayer?
They have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fraudulent companies set up, and they're sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota.
And how have you seen the weaponization of the word racist and Islamophobe take power here?
Here in Minnesota, potentially the largest fraud to ever happen in America is happening right now, as billions of dollars has been laundered and funneled and given to Somali-ran businesses here inside of Minnesota.
I hope he ups his security though, because you know he's exposing some shit, bro. He should definitely upgrade his security.
All across the state. I'm here in Minneapolis right now, and I'm meeting with a man who's been doing his own research for years, as he's been speculating this fraud, as he's seen it blatantly inside of his neighborhoods and the areas that he calls home. This is an interview with a man who has done everything possible to expose the fraud, and now let's get into the interview. What's the need for $2.25 million for a daycare?
$1 million.
How come they said this building was closed?
There's a lot of fraud happening here in Minnesota. You've been living here for years now. How bad is this fraud?
So I was born in Minneapolis a long time ago. I've lived my whole life here, and my opinion is that this is the worst fraud in human history, what is occurring in Minnesota and more specifically in the Twin Cities right now.
How much money do you think has been sent around fraudulently here inside Minnesota?
Over the years, I would say anywhere from 80 to $100 billion.
Holy shit.
Right now, the big controversy is with Tim Walz and his government and the fraud that they've allowed to happen within the Somalian community. Right behind us is Cedar Riverside, a location where it is very densely populated with Somalians. How have Somalians gotten into the system to fraud the American taxpayer?
Well, so that complex you're seeing behind there, I attended the university.
Oh, it was on the news. Dude, obviously they're trying to do propaganda now to make people, to try and change people's minds. Like, oh my God, bro. Never mind, I'm not looking at the chat. By the way, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. We're on the road to 10,000 subs. Show some love and support. If you want to get your name written on the donor wall, YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So go to the copy and paste or go to the link that's in my pinned comment, www.co-fi.com/see me now. And show some love and support, man.
Minnesota. And in the area we're on right now, this is the West Bank, and it was always called the West Bank, and it was sort of the place to be when you're in college. And that was all student housing, 100%. That building you see in the background, it's now 100% Somali. And I can tell you confidently, they don't pay for their housing, they don't pay for their food, they don't pay for their vehicles. And on top of that, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fraudulent companies set up, and they're sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota.
And how are they sucking
It's
billions?
just dumb people in the comments, guys. Just ignore them. Like, at this point, like, I think they do it on purpose.
Of dollars out of the state of Minnesota.
Well,
dude, you want to? Here, I'll show you how to do it. There you go. Now you're fucking gone. Bye.
One example would be with the hundreds of child care facilities that they have set up. And on every one that I visited, and I've been to maybe...
Yeah, Matthew, it is scary, and we got to work on it. We got to work on, building families more. Like when I had my first kid when I was 19, bro. I was focused on having kids because I wanted to have kids when I was young because I lost my father when I was 9, right? I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be the father I never had, and I think a lot of people need to focus on having family because that's the most important thing you're going to leave behind in this world. No money, no materialistic things matter when it comes to the impact you have on your children and the legacy you leave with your children and your family and building your bloodline. So I feel like that should be a main goal with everybody.
100 of them or more. I never, ever have seen one child at any facilities ever over the past 7 years, 8 years.
What are the businesses that are being used to fraud the taxpayer here in Minnesota? You have the daycares. What are all of them?
So you have child care, you have adult daycare.
I'm going to go put this guy back.
In-home health care. You have straight health care, and nobody really knows how that's defined. And then you have transportation, non-emergency medical transportation. And if you do a search, you'll see that the state of Minnesota says they have 1,020 non-emergency medical transportation companies. And my research is showing that 95% of those are Somali owned. And what I know is that the people writing the checks at the state of Minnesota never, ever, ever verify that any trip was ever made or that any appointment was ever made with a dentist, chiropractor, or anything.
And so these people are able to start these businesses and then immediately get funds from the government?
Yes, so interestingly that you bring up licensing, because another area of fraud that I exposed was all of these autism centers, because I would drive around the Twin Cities. I said, well, there's another autism center. I said, what's going on with all this autism? Is there something in the water? And then I started to look at, well, who owns these autism centers? And virtually 99% of them were owned by Somalis.
And is there an autism outbreak here in Minnesota right now?
There is not. But to open an autism center, you do not need a license.
And so people are claiming their children are autistic to receive money from the government.
Yes.
And the government, underneath Tim Walz's leadership, they're not going in investigating and doing their due diligence to say, maybe we shouldn't give this company $1 million.
Well, so what's happening is there have been some sporadic inspections done at these facilities. And I have records of some of these inspections. And one inspection, they'll get 11 violations. A child care facility with 11 violations, that is bad. I mean, unsanitary conditions, broken furniture, no play area for the children. And so they write these things in their report, but then they never follow up to make sure. They never physically revisit the site to make...
When they were walking into those daycares, it was like they were barren. There was nothing there. And not only that, but it makes you think, like, what are these Somalis or what are these people going there for? You know what I mean? Like, why are they going there? Like, why are these people walking in this door? And you know what I mean? What, like, if there's no kids there, what are they doing there? There's got to be something else going on, right? I don't know. I'm just an idiot, right?
Sure that any of those violations are corrected. What they accept is documentation from the center that they've made the corrections.
So at the end of the day, they're able to violate certain guidelines, yet they still receive money somehow. How is there not somebody inside the state who's saying, okay, we're seeing this fraud happen, let's maybe not just continue to give money to these people?
So you've probably heard the term Minnesota nice before, which back in the old times, in the old days, it meant something. Now it's actually a curse upon us, because the people here, the majority of the people, they're afraid of their own shadows. I'm an outcast because I'm exposing this fraud. I'm telling the truth. My family has basically disowned me because of all of this fraud that I've uncovered, and I've been called a racist, an Islamophobe, a white supremacist, Nazi, all these things. And I said, look, everything that I talk about is verified. I have it in writing. I've gone to politicians. I've gone to Washington, D.C. over the years. I said, look, this fraud is out of control. This is approaching $100 billion. And now you see the U.S. attorney, they started with defeating our future, $250 million. I said, no, that's amateur hour. Then they said it's $1 billion. Now, just today, the U.S. attorney held a press conference and said the fraud is possibly as much as $18 billion, but we don't really know what period of time, and I'm telling you, it's way more than that. You have transportation, autism, childcare, daycare, healthcare, and nobody knows what's healthcare because they're not healthcare providers. So what is the healthcare?
By the way, you guys know I got an e-bag, right? I got an e-bag. I'm an e-bagger. No, I just got to plug myself. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, man. We're on the road to 10,000 subs, man. Once we hit 10K, it's going to be a good milestone. Make sure you guys double tap that screen, show some love and support. And if you want to get your name written down on the donor wall behind me, it's filling up quick. We got to move on to another wall. Send through your super chats, but YouTube does take a brutal 30%. So go to the link in the pinned comment to Ko-fi and send money through there. Show some love and support. Help me continue to upgrade the studio and do this Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 1. God bless. 12 or 1.
They have in-home health care.
And so what's the need, for example, for 1,200 transportation companies inside of Minnesota? What's the need for that many transportation?
Well, there isn't. There isn't. You're talking about getting a right. You already have services that are provided. You have
Uber,
you have
Lyft.
Metro Mobility that offers free rides to seniors and low-income people. And so to have that many non-emergency medical transportation companies, it's not possible that they can transport that many people. I have been to many of these transportation companies, and I've been time-stamping my photographs for a whole year at one facility in Minneapolis, and those vans in that parking lot have not moved 1 inch in an entire year. They're all still sitting there.
And so when you think about it, you have, with the transportation companies, you have the adult care centers. So are they working hand in hand together to then say, we're getting the services from them, the adult daycare centers, to then transport them to their appointments?
So
linebacker, no, that's just how it's been, dude. That's just how it's been indoctrinated into us. You say anything, you're an anti-Semite, you're an Islamophobe, you're not. I've been called a Nazi and a fascist so many times just because I say I'm proud to be white, and it's like, dude, like, oh my god, like, it's just so insane to me, and it is true though. Like, people want to attack you sometimes physically just for expressing that kind of stuff.
My feeling is this transportation deal is kind of the belly of the beast because
I'm gonna fill my coffee.
You also have these charter schools, and there's a school in North Minneapolis called Bonadier Academy. It's a K through 12 school, so that's K through 12, so that's 13 years, 13 classes, right? And they say they have 150 students. I found data that they have 136, so that's 10 people per class. If that's how is that possible? And they're getting somewhere around $20 to $30 million a year for what?
So 130 students, and they're receiving around $20 million.
Or more, yes.
A lot of these schools are.
Yes.
The fraud here is like exuberant amount of numbers. How about as to how much they're actually enabling to happen?
Linebacker, you need to. Oh my god! But never mind. I'm just ignoring stupid.
Here, we went to a fraud committee, and you saw the people. I even confronted one of the ladies myself, and she started to blame the fraud and deflecting it upon how there's fraud everywhere. And she didn't take any accountability. She didn't take responsibility. In fact, she blamed Trump for the fraud that's been happening here inside of Minnesota.
Right. So Kristen Robbins is the chairwoman of the fraud committee, and she was attacked by that Democrat member you were just talking about for not telling that committee about all this fraud. Well, the law says in Minnesota that if you are an elected or public official and you are aware of fraud or suspected fraud, it's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9, that you must report that fraud or suspected fraud immediately to the Office of the Legislative Auditor, the OLA, and then the OLA decides which law enforcement agency to refer the complaint to.
And they failed to do that.
No, Kristen Robbins did that. She said, I reported it to the OLA, and the Democrat, she had no idea how things work in Minnesota. She was just so enraged about all this fraud getting exposed.
Yeah, because they don't want to take accountability because the fraud is
Dude, I don't give a fuck about semantics. You know what I'm saying? Like, like just because I said everyone. Oh my God, I said everyone. And no, you didn't hurt my feelings. Just like, you know what I'm saying. Just because you didn't see it today doesn't mean there hasn't been other streams that my fucking moderators can, agree with me that there's been many like comments like Like today's pretty chill, but I've had many streams where the whole chat is calling me a fascist, a racist, a Nazi, Islamophobe. And it's like, dude, you know? Like, but yeah, there are good chatters out there. There are good people out there. But just because you're worried about my wording, like, just get the fuck out of here with that.
Blatant. You can go to any of these daycare centers. There are no children.
Come on, have like a more
Last
open
Saturday,
mind,
I was
right?
in front of the governor's mansion, and I was attacked by 3 Somali men. It's on camera. I made a 911 call. Nobody came to help me. The week before that, I fought off a knife attack. And these people are very violent, and people are afraid of them. The police are even afraid of them. And the police chief is out there telling the public, if you see an ICE agent, call 911. I mean, it's insanity. It's just pure evil. I mean, it's...
Now, let's directly talk about the Somali population because, for instance, you get attacked by 3 Somalians, the police don't come, they're told to call police if they see ICE. How come Somalians have been able to get such a strong foothold here inside of Minnesota, specifically here in Minneapolis?
The reason is that the Somali community is a closed community. What I mean by that is they do not talk to outsiders, and they are ruled with an iron fist by the Somali mafia. And one of those guys is the guy who just got convicted of $7.2 million of fraud, a unanimous jury verdict, and Judge Sarah West overturned the verdict. I couldn't believe it. That was my discovery of all that fraud. I'm the one who got that guy brought before the jury, and then they find him guilty, and they let him go. And now you have Keith Ellison who says he's going to appeal the verdict. Well, he's a Muslim. He's going to find a way to screw it up.
So even if they are...
That's crazy. Not going to lie.
Committed for fraud. That guy, he's committed for how much?
7.2 is what the unanimous jury verdict. 7.2 million.
And then they just went ahead and released him.
The judge overturned the verdict. He's walking free as we speak.
Dude, one thing I hate in this fucking world, right, is corrupt judges. Like, I just cannot stand them. I had to deal with one in my custody case. You see them all over when it comes to a lot of PDF files and other things. Like, oh my God, dude. I cannot stand corrupt judges.
Still collecting money from the state. And it's federal money too. So we need the feds to come in here because this is not all state money. There's federal money that's involved here, and it's way beyond anybody's imagination, the total amount. The state doesn't even know. The feds don't even know.
And so, for instance, why would that judge bow down to the head of the Somali mafia here?
What I can tell you is that it's a voting bloc, and what they say is if you do...
I'll tell you right now, I'm freaking... My last name is Jewish. I'm apparently an Ashkenazi Jew, right? But I don't practice Judaism. But that's apparently what my bloodline is.
Something to go against our community, we're going to vote for, and they all vote together, and there's ballot harvesting, I've seen them do it, that we're going to vote for your opponent unless you do what we tell you to do.
And so is it all purely for votes?
Yes.
And so this building right here, Cedar Riverside, major, massive apartment complex. How many Somalians do you think live in there, for instance?
Well, this is just one complex. You've got 20 more just like this around the Twin Cities, and they're
Dude,
all...
I literally, with the first judge I had in my custody case, he literally denied me my, what was it, Fourth Amendment? I can't remember which one it was, but he denied me my constitutional right of due process. The second judge even said it on record. So I have it on record. I can get the transcripts. He said it like 4 times. This first judge literally, like, when we put in a motion, my ex somehow, we feel like there was ex parte communication because my ex knew that it was denied before I even got the letter it was denied. So, like, I know all too well about corrupt judges, and I even wrote a letter to the Supreme Court, and I will be, I'm trying to find a lawyer to sue because my lawyer told me that I have a pretty good case to sue the state.
Somali, you're talking probably 100,000 or more people.
I got a year and a half of my kids' lives taken from me. I got my constitutional rights violated, and I was a victim, and I was not heard, and, you know, I should just pull what these liberals do and just fucking go cry about it and hold a piece of cardboard in front of the courthouse until I get my money.
And they're all living rent-free. They're driving a vehicle that you paid for. They're eating food that you paid for. Everything they do is something that you paid for.
And for instance, that entire block will then go and vote for one specific candidate.
They'll have one person go there and collect all the ballots, and nobody tracks. They could say they have 9 people living in an apartment. They're going to send them 9 ballots. And then they have someone who comes.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, no, we literally went to court, and they locked me out of the courtroom, and court took place with me in the hallway, locked in the hallway. Then and I had custody of my kids at the time, and then once they walked out, they followed me to my house and took my kids from me. Crazy. I'll never forget it, bro. Never.
Along, collects all the ballots, and they fill them out, and then
God, it was like a movie, and it's all just like a bad dream. I'm so glad I have my kids back now, but I fucking hate I have to deal with my baby mama, dude, because it's just, when you have to deal with someone who's on substances and who's just sporadic and crazy, it's just like, oh my God.
Deliver them all to the ballot box or wherever they deliver them all at once. There's no verification. Nobody's doing anything to know if these people are even citizens that are voting.
And how well have they integrated into society here?
Not at all. It's either you do things their way or you're a racist, you're an Islamophobe, and you will be attacked. My life's been threatened many times. I've had people tell me, just stop doing what you're doing. They're gonna take you out. And I can't do it because everybody says somebody ought to do something about that. I'm that somebody. I'm the guy who's doing something about it.
And what led you to want to do this, where you're so passionate about it, where you've done your own investigation? If you were working for...
It worked out great. I have kids and I have a bloodline that I'm continuing. So it worked out good. Just because me and the mom didn't work out doesn't mean that me starting a family like I wanted to at 19 is a regret. Never regret that, okay? I know one of my best friends I played hockey with had a girlfriend from another city, and they're still together to this day. They've been together for like 14 years, dude. From fucking like freshman year. So, yeah, I have full custody of my 2 daughters, and I have my baby mama on child support, so I think it's going pretty good for me, linebacker.
The government, you'd be called a whistleblower. Thankfully, you're a whistleblower in your own way as far as you're coming out with the information, with the numbers. When we went to all the daycare centers, you had the numbers specifically as to how much money these people have been receiving at these daycares, and there wasn't a single daycare inside of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area that wasn't receiving at least $1 million.
Yeah, so we hit 3 of the top, and so when you're talking about money going to the daycare, we were looking just specifically at CCAP money, which is Child Care Assistance Payments. And the one daycare we went to on Chicago Avenue that said they had 102 children, they got $3.6 million in fiscal year 2025. And in 2024, they got $2.8 million. And how many kids did we see there? 0. In fact, we didn't see a single child at any of the child care facilities, and that's the way they all are every single day.
And I want to keep going in about how Somalia has gained such a stronghold of this area of Minnesota. They're building mosques block to block in St. Cloud. That's just about an hour away from Minneapolis. And here in Minneapolis and St. Paul in the Twin Cities, you have entire apartment complexes where there are not a single white Caucasian living inside.
Right.
And then you also have, I've heard in Rochester, it's pretty bad as well. But how did they come in and then expand to the point where they kicked out everybody from a college area to where the point where they have now the apartment complex? How have they expanded so much here inside of Twin Cities areas?
It's because they all stick together. They all sing the racist Islamophobe mantra over and over and over. They'll lie. They'll say you assaulted them. They'll do all these things until eventually they force people out. Right up the road from us is Palmer's Bar. It opened in 1906. I used to go there because you could drink when you were underage, and I went to the U of M, say, hey, you could have a beer. And that place was legendary. And what happened was the residents who live in that building right behind us filed so many false reports against patrons of that bar and the bar itself that the city went to the owners of Palmer's Bar and said, look, you either shut down voluntarily or we're going to drag you through and we're going to make you spend a lot of money and we're still going to shut you down. So that bar's been shut down, and now they're going to turn it into what? Another mosque.
So they push out what used to be Minnesota staples such as Palmer's Bar, and now that bar is turning into a mosque.
There's a mansion over...
I agree, Matthew, and anyone who questions what I just said doesn't know anything about family. They're fucking dumb. But yeah.
On 24th and Park Avenue, historic building. They bought that. They're turning that into a mosque. They're building another brand new mosque not far away. And it's it's like when you're in a dream and there's something really bad happening to you and you're screaming and all these people are walking by and nobody hears you. That's what I live every day. That's my life every day. But I'm committed to doing what I can to end this. I just want it to stop.
And how have you seen the weaponization of the word racist and Islamophobe take power here?
It's incredibly powerful, and all I can describe it as evil. It is an evil that has taken hold here, and it's permeated all of our society. And the people in Minnesota, they just want to stick their head in the sand and pretend it doesn't. Somebody will do something about it. They don't have to do anything, or it's not going to affect them. And they don't. In their mind, they want to redecorate the upstairs bedroom when there's a massive crack in the foundation that's allowing all this water and dirt and everything to get in there, and they're worried about the upstairs bedroom. It's insanity.
And real quick break from the interview to tell you guys about the sponsor of this video, Opus Clip, what used to just be an AI editor.
Congratulations, though, Matthew. I appreciate you, bro. God bless you, homie. And it is rough. It's rough on the mental as well.
Your town?
Never.
And when did it start to happen?
I first started to notice the tenets of this going back more than 20 years ago. And I started to say, what's going on here? And then I found out how a lot of these Somalis were getting to Minnesota. And let me tell you, they weren't going through customs like you have to. They weren't. So I'll leave it at that. And then where did the bus bring them? Right there to Cedar Riverside. That was the hub of Somali, their foothold in Minneapolis. And then Omar Jamal stood in a corner in downtown Minneapolis, got to be 15, 20 years ago. And he said, we're planting our flag right here. This is going to be Somali World Headquarters outside of Somalia, Minneapolis. And don't you know, the state flag of Minnesota was changed from this beautiful historic flag to the flag that is almost exactly the same as the flag of Somalia.
Well, Tim Walz said your old flag was racist.
Yeah, it was a farmer with a plow horse. That's racist. Why, because it's somebody working? That's racism.
Tim Walz, he's an interesting man. He's enabled a lot of this fraud to happen underneath him. Was the fraud happening before Tim Walz as well?
Well, likely yes, it was, because he's going for his third term as governor. So Tim Walz is from Nebraska. He was a teacher. He lied about getting a Nebraska Chamber of Commerce award. He lied about his military service. Everybody knows. And he's scared to death now that this fraud has been exposed, and he's scrambling. And he has a press conference on gun control. I go, what are you, gun control? You got $100 billion of fraud. You're going to talk about people not walking around with machine guns? I mean, what is this, the 1920s?
And inside these apartment complexes, not just Cedar Riverside, how do they force, because this one right here, you only see Somalians. How do they force any other race, white, Asian, black, Mexican, how do they make it so that these apartment complexes are only their apartment complex?
So there are a couple of ways they do it. One is to incessantly harass any non-Somali tenant so that they have to move out, or they file false complaints, multiple complaints against someone until they're evicted. The city will come in if it's a city-owned building, if it's income housing, and they'll evict that person, and then the Somali moves in. And that's how they've been doing it all around the Twin Cities. Folks, I'm just telling you, as bad as you think it is, it's 10 times worse. You'll never see anything like this. If you went to any country around the world, you'll never see anything as bad as it is right here in Minneapolis.
So for instance, say I were to move inside and got myself an apartment over in Cedar Riverside, and I started listening to music a little too loud or watching a movie too late at night, and somebody next door had a baby, and they said that was just too much a noise complaint. Would they call you a racist, or how would they get you out of the apartment?
Yeah, they would say you harassed them, you threatened them, you assaulted them. It's something that their mindset is that they don't care as long as they can get their way. They don't care what happens to anybody else who's not a Somali. And they have warring factions within the Somali community because this is such a cash grab that they're fighting them. There are factions within the Somali community that are fighting amongst each other.
So do you think right now in Somalia, people know if they make their way to Minnesota, they'll be able to get $1 million?
Absolutely. Everyone knows it's wide open. It's the Wild West.
Because I say $1 million because every place we went to and where we have gone, everything is above $1 million. Like, it's not just like a $500,000. It's not just what would be a great salary of $60,000 to $100,000 for a single person. It's literally millions of dollars. It's not a joke when you say that these people are becoming millionaires just from getting money from the government.
So think about it. You get up and you go to work every day and you make $50,000, $60,000 and you work like crazy. Some of you work two jobs, 3 jobs. They're not working at all. And they're getting new free cars, free housing, free food, everything. It's completely out of control here. I need the federal government to come in here and put a stop to this because the political will in Minnesota is not here to do it.
And because that money that they receive what are they? Are they grants? Are they relief? What are the money
it's
that?
It's all tax free too, pretty sure. Like, it's just crazy to listen to. Sorry, I'm being quiet, but it's compelling to listen to.
get? What do they label that as?
Well, so interesting you brought up grants, because that's a whole nother, so they have a thing called Minnesota Deeds, DEEDS grants. And I looked at the list of grants that were just issued this year, and they're about 75% Somali owned. So those are more money they're just giving them, and they're not even tracking what's being done with the money. They fill out a form saying, we're gonna use it for this. Nobody follows up. So you've got childcare, you've got transportation.
But what's that money labeled underneath as? When it, say, for instance, when $1 million is sent to a childcare, is that money labeled as what would it be?
Well, it's a number of things. It's CCAP, which is child care assistance payments. It's SNAP benefits. It's learning. That's what they separate it as learning. So we're learning. So we're not just a child care. We're teaching them something. So there are all these separate payments that are going in. So there's no one label because it's coming in from.
Oh, I agree, Matthew. That's why I'm not paying attention or listening. I mean, if you don't think that me fighting or us fighting for our kids and getting them back doesn't hold family values, I think you're just completely the R word. So it is what it is. What else was I going to say, though? Oh, Pumpkin, you should see how good my daughter is at wearing her glasses, dude. She's so good at wearing her glasses. She looks so beautiful. But no, I'm proud of you, Matthew. God bless you, man. And God bless your son. And God bless you, bro. It takes a real man to do that shit, dude. Takes a real man to fight for his kids and to get them back and do everything, you know? Yep. My dad died when I was 9. That's why I said I would never not be in my kid's life. That's why every single day I worked my ass off to get them back. And, you know, when you work for it, God rewards you. So the universe rewards you in good ways.
For all these different things, but it's all coming from the Department of Human Services.
And so with that,
she didn't train at all. We went and we got her eyes checked out, and her left eye is pretty bad. So the first couple weeks of her wearing them, she took breaks because obviously, I mean, when you first get glasses, the back of your ears hurt, your nose hurts. I get it. But now, yeah, she wears them perfectly. She does really good. Does really good. Goes to daycare with them and everything. So I'm proud of her.
Money.
What if I can't show a picture? Hold on, I'm finding a picture.
Get the $1 million into the daycare. Will they have to pay taxes on that $1 million? Or is that tax-free money?
Well, so what's funny is that KSTP just came out and published a story that said Somalis are the economic engine that's driving Minnesota, that they paid $76 million or something in taxes. I just laughed. I said, what? They're an economic benefit to Minnesota?
This is her in her glasses right here. She's so beautiful.
But that's what I'm fighting every day, is a media that is completely on the Somali side, and I don't understand why people have this mindset. It's evil. We're trying to fix our state, and you look at the long game on this. You say, well, what is the end result of this? The end result of this is that this becomes Somalia.
I mean, they already planted their flag here. Essentially,
they literally planted their flag at the Capitol. It's a flag of Somalia, literally.
But do they pay taxes on that money they receive from the government when they get sent to their daycare, when they get sent to their adult daycare, when they get sent to their transportation companies?
Nope. They're paying a different rate, if they're paying any at all, and a lot of it is being redirected. So there's stories that they're funding al-Shabaab, and so this money typically doesn't go directly back to Somalia. The money they send back, they'll send it through Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Pumpkin, that's why I'm glad that I have, you know, God bless you for having to go through that process still. That's why I'm glad I won, though, and I got my court order for primary custody, and I have all the power. Everything's under my discretion on how I decide to do visits and all this other stuff. So, you know, the way the mom acts and stuff like that, it depends on how we work together. But, you know, I just wish it was just me. But I know, dude, she's my little twin. I appreciate that, brother. God bless. She is my little twin. She is a daddy. Both my kids are daddy's girls. Like, completely. They don't ask about their mom at all. But my youngest, she is my twin. She just like me, bro. We at night before we go to bed, we both take off our glasses, dude. That's how you know you're twinning.
Sent through Kenya, because then it's not a direct link from the Somalis here back to Somalia, so they're routing it through a third party.
So that's a whole different thing about them funding al-Shabaab and terrorist organizations. But I want to get to my point. It's like, is that money that they are getting from the government, will they eventually pay taxes on that, or is that just tax-free money essentially?
I don't know. I can't get any of the tax records from the state.
Because, for instance, if me or you make $1 million, we're going to be given 40% back to the
or more.
Thank you, Carl.
If you live here, you're going to pay probably 50%.
Yeah. So
yeah.
if they get $1 million, none of they are getting taxed on that, most likely, especially if it's as just a loan, not even a loan, it's just money they're giving to the daycare to take care of. It's like
it's not
government benefit.
To my understanding, it's not considered income.
Yeah.
Because it's an assistance payment.
And so that's why they are doing all these businesses that are based off of assistance.
Dude, my son looks exactly like me. I'm not even talking about like, oh, it's a little bit, but oh, he's got his mom's eyes or something. Oh, 100%, Matthew. That's how I feel with my kids. And it's a blessing to see that too, because it's nice looking in the mirror every day. It feels like you're looking in the mirror. I really wonder what my son would have looked like. He passed away at 3 months old from SIDS, but he'd be 4 right now, 5. And he was my twin when he was born, so I'm sure he'd look just like me now. But it's crazy to think that I would have 3 kids here.
For daycare, for adult daycare, for transportation, because they're getting money for these companies, you can label them as assistance versus being for profit.
Correct. That's exactly right.
And let's talk about Al-Shabaab and the money that's being allegedly sent to these terrorist organizations in Somalia. Spoke to a man who, he's also a whistleblower who used to work for the police department inside of the airport. He said every single week, literally millions of dollars worth of cash would be funneled through the airport, through TSA here in Minnesota, at the Minneapolis airport. How are they moving the money from Minnesota, from the taxpayer of Minnesota, back into these Somalian-run businesses, into the hands of people like Al-Shabaab, who are linked with Al-Qaeda?
So anyone who travels knows that if you have over $10,000 in cash, you're going to get stopped by TSA, and they're going to want to know, where did this money come from? And if you're a couple traveling together, they're going to combine the money that you're carrying and say, okay, what is the total amount that you're carrying? And I talked with the TSA agent.
I said earlier, I think the Daily Wire's done, bro. I think the Daily Wire's done. I don't think they have any credibility. The way that everything's being conducted by Ben, he's ruining his company and the image of a lot of his employees, like Brett Cooper and these other people. I don't know. I'm not surprised. People are waking up, and the way that Ben's acting is ruining his situation.
Who worked at the Minneapolis airport, and there was a Somali man who came through with 2 suitcases. And we
are going to watch a little bit more of this video, and then I'm going to get off. Okay? I'm might be back on later to cover Candace's stream. I think I'm going to come back and cover her stream, but we'll see when she does a stream, okay? But I'm going to get off here soon. I got some stuff to do, make some videos, and then I'm going to see when Candace is going to stream and cover her. My kid is 16 right now. He looks just like I did when I was 16. It's hilarious because my friend thinks I'm immortal. I show pictures of my high school friends and they're like, what the fuck, bro? I know. Yeah, I don't even want to think about when my kids get that old. Oh, goodness.
Put on his declaration that he had $750,000 in cash. And so the TSA agent said, whoa, wait a minute here. And so they took him to a secure room. They opened up the suitcases. Sure enough, $750,000 in cash. And so she called the police. The police came. And then the officer said, well, I've never had this before. This is such a large amount of money. He said, where'd this money come from? The guy said, I don't have to tell you, I don't know. And so he called his superior, and the superior said, okay, I got to make a call and get back to you. And then he called him back and said, you got to let him go.
Thank you,
because he declared the money. He goes, no, we can't let it. So they're not even verifying where these funds came from. And so how deep does this go? How many people are involved? How bad is this?
Because, I mean, how does somebody acquire?
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate you. Yeah, he looked just like me, see? I mean, I have his ashes with my dad's ashes, so. But yeah, here he is. Beautiful little boy, man. It's my twin. I'm blessed.
$750 in cash. For instance, you can't even go to a bank right now asking for $100,000. You'd have to go through a big process to get that much money in cash. The only way that they could be acquiring this much money is through running a daycare, for instance, where they're literally receiving anywhere from $1 million to $3 million.
And so one thing to keep in mind is that Somalis will not pay tax, because tax is something that is reserved for them to impose on others. So they will not pay tax. So when they're buying these $1 million homes and these brand new SUVs and going to Costco and loading up their carts, they're paying with cash, or they're using their EBT card, which is typically loaded with $5,000 a month.
Everybody that's new to the channel, though, hit the subscribe button. But make sure you hit the notification bell, okay? I want to see you guys in every single stream.
So on top of, it's like pouring syrup on top of chocolate. I mean, where does it stop?
So they're using cash instead of like a card, for instance, through Chase Bank.
Well, so they're walking into car dealerships with $100,000 in cash, 120. Here you go, I'll give cash. And these dealers are supposed to be reporting that to the IRS because it's more than $10,000. They have to track where the money came from, and they haven't been doing that because why? And the guy's going to walk in and give me cash, and of course I'm going to take it. So there are a lot of people who are complicit in this fraud, and there are a lot of people who are going to be called to answer for what they've done.
Now let's talk about people like Ilhan Omar and her influence here on the Somalian community. What influence does she have on what happens here?
Well, she's a key reason that we have so many Somalis here. She was a big proponent of drawing them in because once she realized how loose the regulations were here on all of this money, this welfare money, this assistance payments, she started bringing the Somalis in, and they came in from all around the country. So not only were they coming from Somalia, they were coming from Texas and Florida, New York, and everywhere else, because the word went out, you got to come to Minnesota because it's open season here. And so that's why, and they're still coming here, and they're still gonna get money. And so Ilhan Omar is, I mean, she's the godmother of the Somalis.
And so whatever she says goes.
Yes.
And you keep referring that Somalians don't move alone. If one of them moves, 10 of them move.
Yes.
So that's how they're able to multiply and almost compound here as far as their population size.
And so the idea is that they want to repopulate as quickly as possible. So that's why all these Muslim women you see, they're always pregnant all the time. Because when you have all these children, now you can start to overtake us.
Wow, Carl, that's very deep, man. God bless you, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're in this live stream, bro. God bless you, brother. God, that makes me think of what's his name, who had leukemia, and he was donating to me, and he said he didn't need the money, and he was donating it to me. It made me tear up, and I haven't seen him on stream for a long time. I hope he's doing okay. God bless you, brother.
A city, a society, and now you run for school board, you run for office. We had a Somali guy, I couldn't believe he didn't get elected mayor of Minneapolis, but Jacob Fry, who was elected mayor, he's even worse.
100%, Matthew.
He bows down to the Somalis, he tries to speak their language, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, the fact that Americans are wearing hijabs up there and planting the Somali flag behind them with the Minnesota flag is like, dude, how much more embarrassing can we get?
These Somalis, they're Muslims, and Muslims are able to have 4 wives. And
Yes.
they're able to have, I don't know, I doubt there's a cap to how many kids you can have, but by having 4 wives, you're able to have more kids than a person with just 1 wife.
Yes.
And so obviously they're going to multiply and compound inside of Minnesota. So who knows what Minnesota will look like in 50 years from now?
If this doesn't stop, Minnesota's done. It will be Somalia.
Like, we know the fraud attracted them, but initially what attracted them to come here? Because a lot of them came underneath Obama with what was happening in Somalia. A lot of refugees were taken into the United States. What attracted them to?
One of my worries is I worry that people aren't going to want to see this happen. You know what I mean? And it's going to resort to violence. Thank you so much, Carl. God bless you too, man. I'll be praying for you as well. You're the best. I got the best community on YouTube, man. I'll always say that. Thank you, Matthew. I'm glad that you joined the family, brother. I got the best community on YouTube, and I know that, bro. Make sure you guys hit the notification bell. I want to see your faces in here every day, Monday through Friday, man. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys lift me up every day.
Come straight to Minnesota. It's freezing up here.
I think part of the reason was that the churches, especially the Lutheran Church, got involved with bringing over a lot of refugees, and it started back with the Hmong population, which was very large in St. Paul, and I was happy to have them here. They worked, they opened businesses, they were...
Yeah, but it's not about the amount of people. I don't think we need a lot of people. I don't, because we're stronger than them. We're stronger than they think, you know what I mean? And I don't think we need a lot of people.
I mean, they were good community members, they're good citizens, and so I think they leaned on the churches to say, hey, we need to bring these people over because they're refugees, they're fleeing conflict. What conflict? I mean, they're always at conflict. They're tribal people, they're always at war. Bring them over here doesn't cure that. All it does is bring those problems over here.
When they were initially brought over, did you think, as they were initially brought over as refugees, was there a plan for them to eventually go back to Somalia?
No, I think the plan...
God bless you, Carl. And that's a good feeling too. That's how you know we're real ones. That's how you know real ones come across real ones, is when you can talk to somebody and it feels like that, man. So I agree. I appreciate that kind comment, bro. And I agree with you. And I 100% feel it. God bless you, brother.
Plan was that once they got here and they had their hand out and the state started putting money in, they said, I'm not going anywhere. And you're right. They hate the cold weather because it gets really cold here. But when you're getting $1 million a year, you can live through the winter.
And Trump, in a press conference, he was talking about how all they do is complain. He said the word bitch, all they do is bitch, and they complain.
They're probably using those fake daycare centers as apartment buildings.
They're coming from paradise, then they could complain, but they're coming from garbage, is what Trump said, and they're then complaining. How come you think some people that fled a place that was so horrible now come here to the United States and they continue to complain and play victim to the point where they call, if you don't support what they're doing, they call you an Islamophobe, or they call you racist, to the point where eventually everyone's kicked out of an apartment complex and it's full of just one race. Doesn't that make them racist?
I can tell you why they do it. Because, so what is the penalty for a Muslim who leaves the Islamic faith? Death. That's the penalty. And so the idea of Islam.
Dude, and I truly think that if it came to that point, Matthew, our military would side with us and help. I truly do. I think our military would run it up with us, man. Carl, no worries, man. I know it's tough out here, and I'm not saying you're struggling or anything. But I appreciate it, brother, and there's no rush on it. And you subscribing and liking is all that I need. And if you want to go further and support that way, it's very much appreciated. But I want connection with my community more than anything. So, but I appreciate it, bro. God bless you, brother.
Is that the world is theirs, that we're invaders, that we don't have a right to anything, that Allah has created the world for them, and they're going to take it back. So there's a word in Islam.
And guys, don't forget when I had the stream where I read the 100-year plan of Islam, right? Minnesota's a perfect example of how it's being carried out. You know what I'm saying? Welcome in, Two Worlds.
And it's a word that allows Muslims to lie, steal, cheat, do whatever they have to in order to further their goal of a world caliphate.
And one of those examples I've seen personally is you go up to one of them and you ask if they speak English, and they'll say no. They'll even say they speak French instead.
That's another area of fraud. Thank you for bringing that up. So
they use that as a way to not speak with you, to pretty much not integrate, and then they complain that people can't communicate with them.
Right.
Well, like yesterday at Walmart, I couldn't even speak with the lady who was checking this out because she wasn't speaking English, and I had to put in my phone what I needed so that way she could read and then take me to where I needed to go.
So this dovetails into yet another area of fraud, and that is the interpreter services. So when a Somali goes to the doctor, magically they forgot how to speak English, so they need an interpreter there. So the county brings in an interpreter at $100 an hour, minimum 8 hours, to interpret what the doctor is telling the patient.
So that's another layer of fraud that nobody's even talked about or revealed.
And it's millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars all on its own. Interpreter services.
Yeah, I agree, Pumpkin. If there was a revolution like that, trust me, our military would be siding with us because they feel the same way we do. Warren Timmy, thank you for the subscription. God bless. And Mari, you as well. I forgot to shout you out. God bless you, man.
Services.
Yeah, because what percentage do you think of these people, especially if they were born here in the United States, they speak English, right?
Of course they do.
They should not be saying no English. Some of you.
And then remember, the interpreter has to get to the doctor's office or the hospital. How are they getting there? The transportation company, and then they got to get back home. And that patient had to get to the doctor's office. How? Transportation. Kids got to get to school. How? Transportation. That's why I said the transportation is the hub of, really, I think, all of this.
So basically what we're talking about between all these fraudulent businesses, the daycare, the autism centers, the adult daycare, the home services, and then the transportation, and then on top of that you have it looped in with them going eventually to the doctors for translators to be paid by the state.
That's exactly what's happening, yes. The county or the state is paying for an interpreter or translator every time they go. And when they go to have a baby...
What you on today, Two Worlds? That's funny.
They didn't speak English, so the translator will sit there, and if they're there for more than 8 hours, then it loops back into another 8 hours, so it's 16 hours as a minimum.
So they've chosen, quite frankly, the most perfect industries to then work together in a web.
So, look, I have to give them credit for being clever enough to stay together and do all this. My big issue is with the people at the state of Minnesota who keep writing these checks over and over and over. So there's not one check that got written by accident. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of checks, millions of checks, and maybe $100 billion in
100%, Matthew.
that they sent out, and they never.
100%. It would. I just don't think it'd be that hard to do it if we really went all in. You know what I mean? Because I think that there's way more benefit to do it than not, right?
Never bothered to find out how the money was being spent.
And do these people, for instance, if they're having a baby, are they paying to have that baby? What happens if they can't pay the doctor?
They don't pay for anything. The healthcare is all covered. Housing's covered, healthcare is covered, everything, food, everything.
And because, like you're saying, everything's in cash, are they then able to apply for SNAP benefits and
yes.
for welfare and stuff like that?
Yes.
Because if you don't have cash,
they're showing zero income.
Oh my God, dude. That is, but then if you're applying for federal or stuff like that, like SNAP and EBT or whatever the fuck, how are they not knowing you're getting a loan or aid? That is just crazy. Dude, I couldn't imagine. I might, change myself to Somali.
Zero incomes. Yeah. So like for instance, the ladies working at a daycare, they're not getting paid on paper, and they're just filing for welfare.
Right, so what happens is you have payments from the federal government.
Because even me, dude, like I have to report my YouTube earnings, or they'll come at me. I've already gotten fucking things in the mail about it. Like, you know what I mean? I have to report all my earnings from everything I do: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, anything.
Payments from the state, you have payments from the county they're in, and you have payments from the city they live in. So all those things.
And to me, that just shows they're not paying attention in Minnesota, because they definitely pay attention here.
That's why I said this is $100 billion. It could be $200 billion. It's such a big number. I just you can't wrap your mind around it. It's like, how did this happen?
You can't really blame the Somalians, because if you were in the same position, you'd probably do the exact same thing. Because you're hearing everyone receive millions of dollars, and that's why you need to really focus on the corrupt politicians that are inside the Capitol that are allowing this to happen.
I blame the politicians for allowing this to happen.
And then the Somalians, it's morally wrong for them to be doing this, to be frauding the people.
Well, again, it's not because Takia allows them to do this because it furthers their goal of a world caliphate. I mean, that's the bottom line. That's what they're after.
So by enabling them,
become 10% of the population, get in positions of power, never divert from the actual plan, and continue to try and spread Islam. It's exactly what their plan is.
They're able to justify this morally, because if they receive all this money, they have all this stuff, they have a good base, they can then continue to grow Islam.
Right, and so what's really sad from my perspective is Franklin Avenue here in Minneapolis was always very heavily American Indian occupied. The Indian health boards there, their opportunity centers there, their community centers there. The sidewalks even have Native American symbols in them as you go along, in the concrete as you go along, and that area has been totally co-opted by the Somalis.
It's a Somali takeover, like quite frankly.
And so they're spreading.
I have enjoyed the live stream. I have to take a nap. I have work tonight. Thank you, brother. See you tomorrow. Carl, yeah, God bless, man. Monday through Friday, 9:30 to about now, or about 1 o'clock my time. I'm CDT. But yeah, Monday through Friday, man, I try and get on and be consistent and persistent so I can give you guys my time just like you give me yours, man. I hope you have a good nap. God bless you. And I hope work goes good for you tonight. You don't have to work too hard, man. God bless you, and I enjoyed our time together, and I enjoyed your time here, so I look forward to more. Welcome to the family, brother. You won't regret it.
Out Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Cloud, Rochester, Owatonna. It's going throughout the entire state of Minnesota. I'm waiting for them to really take over Duluth. They haven't done that yet, but they're up there.
And we're talking about Islam as well, because that's intertwined with the Somalis, because the majority of them are members of Islam.
Every one of them.
How much are you seeing Islam grow here, the influence of Islam in the Quran? How are you seeing people convert as well?
Well, so when someone...
See you then, Carl. God bless, brother.
Someone becomes a Muslim, let's say they're Catholic or Lutheran or whatever, and they become a Muslim, the Muslims use the term revert. They don't say convert.
Matthew.
They revert because they say, well, everybody should have been Muslim, and if you weren't, you were going down the wrong path. Now that you've become a Muslim, you reverted back to where you should have been all along.
And are you seeing a lot of people convert to Islam?
I hear stories. I mean, I don't know of anyone personally who would do it, but it's ironic that there's snow out there, because this is like this giant snowball that's rolling downhill. And I feel like I'm the only one here trying to stop it. I'm going, you help, help, help. And it's just...
insane.
It's insane.
And let's get into some of the paperwork you have about the fraud. You have all the paperwork. You've done your own internal investigation. You even came up with charts.
Well, we can start with one of the child care facilities that we visited was called Mako Child Care, M-A-K-O. Well, interestingly, there are 2 child care facilities located at that same address. There's Mako Child Care.
Yeah, and it's on purpose, bro. It's on purpose. Trust me.
And there's another one called Mini Child Care. And between the 2 of them, over the last 3 years, they've gotten about $8 million in 3 years between the 2 child care. And I've been by that place literally 300 times, and I never, ever, ever have seen a single child there. In fact, I've never seen a single child at any of these child care facilities.
And that's just one example. That's
one.
So 2 child care companies in the same building.
Yes. And then we have another example here. There was a daycare called Creative Minds Daycare, and They had so many violations. This is how bad this place was. So many violations that the state of Minnesota actually said, no, you guys, you can't. So they still got, in fiscal year 2025, they got $2.45 million, even though they had all these violations. So they shut down Creative Minds and they reopened the next day under a new license, and they called it Super Kids Daycare Center. But they still have they happened so fast, they still have the Creative Minds daycare sign on the building.
Let's keep going. So for just there alone, we've uncovered $11 million worth of fraud in 3 daycares.
So then there was another facility that has, my records show that they had 4 child care facilities in there, but I think the number when I actually went there was...
Yeah, that's the bad thing about being awake, Matthew, is that we're awake and we see it, but people don't want to wake up. People don't want to see what's right in front of them, you know, and it's very frustrating because then you feel like the black sheep, but, you know, there's way more of us that understand it all and know than we think.
7. And one of them was called Minnesota Child Care, and they claimed to have 102 kids that are at child care every single day. And I said, well, I mean, how is this 102 kids? That's a lot of kids. And they got $3.6 million in fiscal year 2025, and they had no kids. No kids. In fact, none of the child care, and those, in fact, some of them don't even answer that there was nobody there. And they're still getting millions of dollars. Nobody is bothering to follow up. Even if they find violations, they're not going back. So for a place to shut down, it was so bad. They said, well, we better shut down. But then they reopened the next day under a new license. Same place. 3801 Portland Avenue, Minneapolis.
And let's go through some of these numbers you have. Let's go through some more of them, because I think the numbers are horrific, quite honestly, because people like me and you, we work extremely hard, whether it be through YouTube or whatever business you're in. We work really hard for our dollar, and so do everyone watching this video, whether you're working at McDonald's or if you're working at Charles Schwab.
Okay.
You're working.
Yeah, people don't understand how hard it is to sit in front of a camera or to do content, or even, you know, do a regular job. You know, hard-earned money is very precious. People don't understand that.
Hard, and so these people are literally making millions of dollars just by opening up daycare. So let's go through the number as to how much fraud, how much money these daycares and other companies are making.
Well, I don't have numbers for all the child care centers because there are so many of them that I can't even get all the data from the state of Minnesota. It's not even on there. So I'll go, some of these places aren't even registered with the state of Minnesota, but I know they're getting money because they're brand new BMWs in the parking lot. So this one in St. Paul at 1048 Aurora Avenue, called Aurora Child Care, it is this awful, it used to be like a woodworking store. It's a tiny little building with no parking. And they say that they have 106 kids in fiscal year 2025, which is July to June in Minnesota. So July of 2024 to June 2025, they got $3.1 million. How many kids do you think there were there? I went there 5 times. 0. I went there in the morning, I went there in the afternoon, I went there in the evening. There were no kids there at all. That's Aurora. Diamond Daycare, 460 Lexington Parkway North in St. Paul. They say that they have 97 capacity for 97 children. 97. This place is tiny. It's like a 10 by 10 building. They got $1.5 million in fiscal year 2025, and they have no kids. None.
There's no kids inside the daycare.
No kids.
Let's keep going.
Here's another one. Sweet Angel.
Oh, we love Sweet Angel.
Sweet Angel.
We paid him a nice little visit.
Yeah, we went to Sweet Angel. So Sweet Angel Child Care, 2740 Minnehaha Avenue, Suite 156. Again, a tiny facility, and they said they have 74 children. 74. So they're not 100. They're 74 kids. And they got $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. They got to step up their game. They should be getting like $2.5 million, right? How many kids did we see there? 0. And what's weird about these child care facilities is all the windows are covered, and a lot of the time nobody answers the door. And even if they do, they yell at you, they scream at you. They're very violent people. Then we went to the Learning Center where they had the sign misspelled.
And what's interesting, when you go to these child daycare centers, all the windows are completely blacked out. The doors are locked. What's the door doing locked if you need to bring your child into the daycare? Doors are completely locked. The windows are completely blocked out. And these are not even like nicest.
And the doors being locked, I mean, I get that. But the windows being blacked out, the fact that when they went there and they asked, like, where can I get my kid in here? And they said no. Or like they don't know what the hell's going on and they're giving weird answers. Like, that's all just ridiculous.
aesthetically looking buildings. These look like they're industrial buildings for warehouses.
Every single childcare that I've been to has been in an industrial or commercial building with no play area for the kids, or some of them have some ramshackle novelty.
100%, bro. That's what the big book burning was about, Matthew.
Stuff outside, but you can see, I go there now, there's no footprints in the snow, there are no kids playing there. And the other thing that happens is when they do bother to inspect these places and they write a violation, this is right here. Correction documentation submitted and approved. They never went back to the facility. So if the violation was unsanitary conditions, broken furniture, inoperable bathrooms, they never go back and double check that the violation was corrected. All the child care facility does is send them documentation, say, yeah, we fixed it. And that's it. They go, okay, it's approved. And the payments keep rolling. Payments keep rolling.
And
I mean, fuck, at this point with my LLC, I might just turn my living room into a daycare center and ask for some fucking government assistance, huh?
who approves these buildings?
Well, so...
Because, for instance, where I'm from, we don't have daycare centers every block. Here in Minnesota, you do.
Almost literally every block, you have a daycare, a child care center. And in a lot of them, you'll have a child care center listed at that address and a health care center and an autism center, all the same address. And you go, well, it's like a 12 by 12 building. What do you got, like 300 people? I mean, how is it possible? It's not. It's all fraud. It's total fraud. What I'm telling you is that Somalis do not send their children to child care ever, not once. It violates their faith.
Because would they trust another woman or another man with their children?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Let's keep going. Let's find some more fraud, because the fraud here is insane. I'm not joking when we say this is the fraud capital. And this will be one of the largest fraud scams ever to happen in America.
In the world. In the world. It's that bad.
Oh, I am 100% down. Who wants to come work at Kanya Daycare? See Me Now Daycare. Opening in a town near you.
So people literally in Somalia right now are probably getting on their phone right now messages saying, come to Minnesota. You can get millions of dollars.
So there's another agency at play here that is helping this fraud stay on steroids, and it's the Minnesota Department of Children, Youth, and Families. And this fine woman is the leader, Tiki Brown. So this is a source of more money. It's also this nonsense award that they give these childcare called Parent Aware. It's a banner with a star on it. Oh, it's a Parent Aware award. And I said, I've never heard of that before. So I started to look it up. Yeah, it's a program she put together, and it's only given to Somali childcare facilities. It doesn't mean a thing. There's no reason for it to be there. It's more nonsense from the state of Minnesota.
And do you have any more numbers right here? It's kind of fun to see how much fraud is actually happening, because it's actually unbelievable.
I've got numbers for probably, I don't know if it's 50 of the child care. There's so many of them that I can't even get all the data. So what I did, if I can deflect over to the transportation, because I go back to this transportation being the hub of all this fraud because it's all connected through the transportation. So I'm trying to collect the data on over 900 of these non-emergency medical transportation companies, and the data is so overwhelming and so hard to get, I had to hire a computer specialist to write a program to extract the data, and he's up to 298 companies right now. He said it's so convoluted the way this is put together. When this dust settles on this transportation, this is going to be in the billions of dollars, billions, and nobody verifies any of these trips were ever made.
Because if you're driving around Minnesota, we drove around the highways, we spotted out 4 of the transportation vehicles going, because they have a number on the back of all their cars. That's not the license plate number. There was not a single person transporting anybody.
No, I've never, and I've seen thousands of these vans right around the Twin Cities because there are hundreds and hundreds of these companies. I've never, ever seen a single passenger in any of these vehicles, and they're all minivans, or the majority of them are minivans.
And when we're talking about fraud, fraud is fraud. A crime is a crime. It doesn't have to do with the race. It doesn't have to do with the religion. It's just the fact that fraud is fraud, and a crime is a crime. It just so happens to be that the Somalians are working hand in hand with the government here, committing the fraud and allowing this crime to happen on the taxpayer citizen here who's paying a fistload of money to the government.
Exactly. So not only are Somalians guilty of fraud, but the people who are writing the checks are just as guilty. In fact, they're more guilty because they wrote the checks.
Exactly. And so this doesn't have to do anything with someone being a racist or an Islamophobe. It's just the fact that fraud's fraud, and you don't like paying your state taxes here, knowing that it's just going potentially back into the hands of a terrorist organization like Al-Shabaab in Somalia.
Well, if this continues, the Somalis are going to own every single building in Minneapolis, and there will be literally 500 mosques here.
And now let's talk about Tim Walz. Do you think Tim Walz will be going to prison for this? And he's running for a 3rd term right now.
So my personal belief is that Tim Walz violated Minnesota Statute 3.971 because he did not, to this day, he has not reported the fraud to the Office of the Legislative Auditor, and that law says you have to report it. So even if it was in the news for months and months, he still had to personally report it to the OLA, and he's never done it.
And why would Tim Walz know about the fraud but not report it?
He's making money
So,
off it.
because again, the Somali community all votes in a block, and he needs their votes because if you got they don't know how many Somalis are here. They say 80,000. I said it's way over 100,000. So they're all voting together, and that's a big number. And he's terrified of this racist Islamophobe label, and I don't understand it.
So do you think it's all due to political correctness that this has happened?
Yes.
And we've seen what's happened in Europe as they've let in a lot of the countries from
Political
Northern Africa,
correctness.
the Middle East. Numbers of rape have gone up exponentially. The safety of their towns have gone up. The Christmas villages have gone down. New Year celebrations have gone down in places like Paris. And I've been to some of these rallies myself in the United Kingdom, for instance, and I asked Tommy Robinson, the man leading this, in a separate occasion, how come this was able to happen? He said, well, because of political correctness and the fear of being called racist, it's so bad that we allowed our daughters to get raped. And here, maybe people aren't getting raped, but their bank accounts are, and their tax dollars are getting sent overseas to fund terrorist organizations. And this is just another component of what happens when people are too afraid to speak out due to the fear of being called a racist.
So what's been happening in Minneapolis, and again, there's an area by the university right over there, University of Minnesota, called Dinkytown.
That's why I'm building this community, Matthew. Trust me, bro. We're going to get it done, dude. You're in the right place, bro. We're going to get this shit done, I promise.
And again, it was a hip spot when I was in college. You went to pizza there. I mean, you kind of hung out there. And there is nobody who will go there at night because of the violence and the attacks, the robberies that have happened there. And these are Somali gangs who are doing this. And you know that's the case because they have cameras everywhere. And they say, oh, well, we know they had hoodies on. We don't have good footage. You know exactly who they are. They're smashing windows on cars over here. And I think it's a culmination of not having to work and not having to pay for anything. Well, what are you going to do all day? Go out idle hands.
You would almost feel like you're invincible if you're living here as a Somalian, knowing that, okay, my dad, he's getting millions of dollars from running this fake daycare center, and then I'm also able to go and commit a crime. If someone says anything, I'm going to call him a racist.
And not only that, but like, dude, like all the Somali gangs that are in Minnesota, I'm sure there's funding there with weapons, things like that, let alone, like he said, buying up residential areas or doing things of that nature. But everything that has been bought from this fraud money needs to be seized and reassessed right away.
And most likely, whoever's writing the claim or the judge, because our king of the mafia here, who got caught for $7.2 million of fraud, and they just let him go. So maybe if I go bash in the window and steal that person's purse out of their car while they run to Starbucks, I'm probably not going to get charged. So I'm pretty much invincible. Let's just go out and do this while we have our idle hands, while nothing else is going on.
So I went to Catholic grade school. In fact, I went to Annunciation where that terrible shooting happened last summer. Those kids were killed. And when you misbehaved in Catholic school, you got the ruler, you got a whack, you got a slap on the wrist, you got an ear twist. I mean, these were, so you grew up pretty straight. And it was pretty strict. And here there are no shackles because they have no fear of the consequences. And when a guy just convicted of $7.2 million in fraud is let go, that sends a signal to the entire Somali community, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, because I mean, if I was a teenager, especially if you're a teenager, you're not an adult, so you can't get charged as an adult. But if you know that people aren't getting in trouble for things like fraud, like if you know your dad's out there committing and making millions of dollars and he's probably laughing about it at the dinner table, if you see that old lady with the money or the lady with the purse and you go and steal, and you know the police aren't going to do anything right now, the police won't even they're telling people here in Minnesota, if they see ICE, call 911. So you know that the police is on your side, which is going to enable you to act in lawless ways because you might as well.
Yeah.
And that's very worrying for a lot of people. And people need to understand, like, this is not a thing where you get called a racist.
You just gotta ignore them, Matthew. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know what it's like in this day and age.
Or if you get called an Islamophobe, a crime's a crime, fraud is fraud, a spade is a spade.
Yeah.
If something's happened, you should be able to call.
You know, that's what they should do with all this oil money they're about to get from Venezuela is repay all the taxpayers.
It out for what it is.
So Nick, it just flashed into my mind the name of that daycare we went to where the sign was misspelled. It's Early Learning Center, but they didn't spell the word learning correctly, so it's Early Learning Center, and that sign has been like that for 9 years, 10 years. And when we were there, that gentleman who worked at the restaurant right there in that same building came out because that woman thought we were ice, and she was screaming, ice, ice, ice. So the guy came out to see what was going on. And we said, oh, well, we're just trying to talk to someone at this childcare. And he said, what childcare? I said, we're right here, Early Learning Center. He goes, oh. I said, well, how long have you worked at the restaurant? 8 years. Well, how many children have you seen here? None, never. We went to the nail salon across the street that directly faces the childcare, the Early Learning Center. and said, well, how many kids do you see here? I said, what kids? No kids. We never see kids.
How many people do you think are just living life, like similar to that one guy outside of the daycare center who's been living there for 8 years? He didn't even know that was a daycare, and he's never seen a child in there. How many people do you think, how many Minnesotans do you think are just living day to day, going about their life, not knowing that millions of dollars are being funneled through fraudulently every single day?
So, fortunately, I kept at this. I started sounding the alarm years and years and years ago that this was happening. And finally, I started to get some traction, and now it's out in the news, and now we got the U.S. Attorney involved. That's all my groundwork, all that fraud. I uncovered all that. And again, had I been a state of Minnesota employee, I'd be a whistleblower. I'd be entitled to $1 billion. I don't care. I don't want the money. I don't want fame. I was just
going to say, this guy deserves a lot of money.
Want it to stop.
And do you think it will stop?
What a good guy, though. What a good guy, you know? He seems like a genuine good dude.
What will put this to a stop?
Well, we're at a fork in the road right now. And we either go this way, which is the destruction of our society, literally the destruction. I'm not being pejorative or using rhetoric. The literal destruction of our society, or we stop this and we say, look, you either assimilate, this is America, you become part of our culture, you can have your own faith, you can do all that, but you become part of our society, or you get out.
Do you think they will assimilate, or where do you think this will actually go?
They will never assimilate. And again, one of the women Tuesday when we went to the
Here he is, guys. My hero.
Childcare, she screamed, we're American citizens, we're American citizens. Well, the reality is there's a difference between being an American citizen and a naturalized U.S. citizen. There's a big difference.
Because a lot of these people have been here for 20 years. A lot of them are first generation born Americans. But for those that came underneath Joe Biden in the past 4 years, or those that are naturalized, they very well could get deported, right?
Well, so...
Especially those that came underneath Joe Biden. For how many more people did you see come into Minnesota when Joe Biden opened up the borders? Is that a lot?
10,000, 20,000. I mean, just it's been a mass influx.
And they've been here for, at this point now, they've been here probably 4 years. They probably had a baby. Therefore, they have an anchor baby here. And it's going to be a lot harder to deport somebody once they have that.
Anchor babies, yeah. Maybe 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. Who knows?
Bro, he's my hero now ever since I dropped that video, man. Come on now, Skippy. Quit fucking talking shit.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think the only option is either they assimilate, which you don't believe is possible, or for them to get deported?
Yes.
What one do you think will actually happen?
Deported, hopefully.
I think it's gonna have to be a blend, because trying to deport all these people is going to be very difficult. The politicians, as you've seen, will rally. The bad politicians, the evil politicians who are benefiting from all this.
Dude, he smells like onions and beef or something. Like, I don't know what the fuck he got into, but it was something.
Rally behind and start screaming racism and Islamophobe and all that. But we have to get these people who are, I mean, this can't continue.
I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but do you think they'll get a point to where, say, a federal agent comes into a place like Cedar Riverside and they start going out through deportations, and then the gangs, we know there's rival gangs inside of these complexes where arms are eventually brought up and people start dying and shooting?
Yes. Yes. And so right now, the Minneapolis police are scared to death of doing anything to offend the Somali community. When you have the police chief in Minneapolis coming out and saying they're our neighbors, they're part of our society, and if you see ICE, call 911. Specifically said it to the Somalis. I mean, what is the message that sends that we're invincible, we can do whatever we want, Minnesota's ours?
And so you've gotten to the point where the federal government, state government are in a battle because the state government wants to protect the Somalians, while meanwhile the federal government wants to actually implement the law of the land, because federal law is more important and has more power than local and state law.
Well, this is the importance of where the money came from for this fraud, because there are federal dollars that are mixed in, and that brings into play the supremacy clause, where the federal government could come into the state and say, we can come in here and we can do whatever we want, we can do our investigation because you used federal dollars that we sent you and you sent it out fraudulently.
Who knows? It's like a ticking time bomb here inside of Minnesota. Either it's going to continue ticking or a bomb's going to go off, metaphorically speaking.
And so all I know is that, I mean, if they take me out, because they've tried essentially twice now, if they take me out, at least I know I fought the fight, I did what was right, and I can go in peace.
So you really feel like they might try to kill you?
Yes.
Really?
They pulled a knife on me 2 weeks ago.
And so you're fearful for your life. Melissa Hortman, she was offed. She was killed. And she had just started to come out and speak against illegal migrants. Do you think that was a setup?
Well,
inside job?
It's interesting because the person who shot her was a former hire of Governor Tim Walz. And so why did he target her? because you're right, she was starting to speak out about immigration, and she's a Democrat. And so it was very taboo what she was doing. It's like a Somali talking to a reporter. You don't do it.
So you think she was killed for that reason?
It's possible it played a role in it.
Because if you look at it, she was starting to speak out against what's happening here in Minnesota with the illegal migrants, and then a man appears to her door and kills her and her husband. And that guy was a former hire of Tim Walz.
Yes.
This fraud had not been exposed until it started to get exposed, and then you saw Tim Walz literally say that he knew about it. He should have said something. Essentially, those weren't exactly his words, but he knew about the fraud happening, and this lady was killed by a Tim Walz hire.
So the answer to what's going to happen
I'm
here
sorry,
in Minnesota
Pumpkin, that's sad.
is going to be determined in the next gubernatorial election, because Tim Walz is running for a third term. And if the people of Minnesota elect him to a third term, I'm done. I can't do this anymore, because that will signal the end of Minnesota, literally.
And it will signal the end of your protection as well, because this will just continue to go.
I wonder how he feels about him dropping out of the race.
I mean, for God's sakes, I was in front of the governor's mansion and I was attacked by 3 Somalis. They had 100 cameras and nobody came out. They have a security detail at the governor's mansion. Nobody came out. I was on 911 and it took the police 11 minutes to get there. We have the faces of the assailants, their vehicle, and their license plate on the camera footage. And I just today now requested, because I haven't heard from the St. Paul Police Department, I requested the camera footage from the governor's mansion, the police report, and the 911 transcript.
And do you think born and raised Minnesotans are going to be able to outvote the Somalian population here?
So my concern is that it used to be just in Minneapolis, and then it went to St. Cloud, and now it's in Rochester, it's in Owatonna, they're heading up to Duluth. And so it used to be your only concern was how are they going to vote in the city here? Because once you get outside the Twin Cities, it gets pretty conservative out there. I mean, they're not happy about what's going on. And all these wishy-washy politicians, most of them are from the Twin Cities here. And I don't know, but it can't continue. It has to change.
It does.
And is there any last message you'd like to give to the people about the fraud?
Look, this fraud has spread now. We've heard about it in Massachusetts. We heard about it in California. This is ground zero for the fraud. And what I'm telling you is you can't sit around and say, that's terrible. Somebody's got to do something about this.
You got this,
You
Matthew.
have to do
Don't
something
give up.
like I've been doing it here. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be the one to make the change. You can't sit around and wait for somebody else to do it, because it's not going to get done.
Well, God bless you, and thank you for your time, and thank you for the work you've done.
Thank you, Nick.
Fraud.
Thank you for your time.
It takes a village, man. It takes a village. It really does. And I agree. Our government needs to do something about this. I have family that lives in Rochester, you know, and I hear all the time about how the gangs are getting bad out there with the Somali gangs. So I don't know. But I'm gonna see when Candace Owens will be going live today, and I really want to cover it. Like, I got till 5:30 my time to cover it. But right now I don't see anything that's scheduled. So we'll figure it out. But I hope everybody has a good day, and I will see you guys when I get back on. If I don't, then I'll definitely see you tomorrow at a regular time. We're back on schedule now that the Christmas breaks are over and stuff like that. I hope everybody had a good holiday, like I said. Excuse me. I hope everybody had a safe New Year, and I hope everybody continues to have a good day and stays blessed and stays in a good mood. I love you guys. Everyone that's new to the channel, I love you. Thank you for coming here and joining the See Me Now family. On the road to 10K, man. We keep going up every day. I seen today went up another 30, 40 subs. So we're only going to continue to go up. We're going to get that silver play button this year. That's our goal. So let's continue to fight the good fight and continue to chase the truth and continue to just, build this community. So I love you guys. I hope everybody has a good day. Take care. If I'm back on to cover Candace, I guess I'll be back on. So look out for that. Make sure you have your notification bells hit. And yeah, I hope everybody has a good day. And God bless you guys. Stay safe and stay tuned. Okay. Thank you guys for your support. It's overwhelming, and I always am very grateful. God bless.